Damas y caballeros, el siguiente podcast es un espacio libre de censuras, sin restricciones y sin límite de tiempo.
Hello guys, how are you? Thank you so much for viewing this video. My name is Victor La Maravilla Romero, and I'm here with my coworker, my partner in crime, Kozby. Kozby, how are you?
Hello, Victor. Hello to everybody. And welcome to the official podcast of RWA, the best company in Costa Rica of wrestling. So we have today a big surprise and big guest, my dear friend Travis Banks. Hello, Travis. How are you?
Hello, guys, for the second time, second
Yeah,
recording.
that's right. This is the second attempt.
We've lost 30 minutes of footage. No, it's fine.
To the guys.
Thanks for having me, guys. We've been talking for like half an hour already, but thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you to my computer for doing what you're doing. Well, it was not my computer's for actually, it was the previous software I was using. Of course, I'm gonna throw it to the garbage. We're not gonna use that anymore, so no problem.
Collapse to your computer.
I'm very sorry for this, guys. I know that last week we didn't have a podcast. It was because the same situation. We have a file corrupted after an interview that we made of 2 hours, 2.5 hours, of which we could only save 1 hour. So today I noticed that the same thing was happening, and I decided to stop the interview immediately. Go ahead, review what was happening here, and it seems like it is fixed. I don't wanna I don't wanna mess it up, but it seems like it is fixed already.
We revealed so many secrets in that last recording as well that will
Yeah, that will not be repeated.
never release it.
All
It's a
right.
shame.
Well, Travis, one more time, how was your day? How are you? Are you excited of being here on Riot Talk?
I am excited to be here, guys. You know, I love Costa Rica. I love you guys. My day's all good. Jess is away in the UK. So I've just been in the house by myself. So I've just been training and yeah, recording podcasts and trying to keep myself busy the best I can. So that's pretty much how it's been for the last 3 weeks. So
Now that you're by yourself these days, are you training harder? Are you giving a little extra on the gym?
I think so. I actually spend a little bit more time there because I get too bored during the day sometimes. So yeah, I just take my time and do some extra sets. So if you see me jacked, you know it's just because I've been bored at home. But yeah, no, I actually, to be honest, I actually do have a new diet and gym program at the moment, and I've like been lifting a lot heavier and eating a lot more. So I'm trying to get a lot bigger. So if any opportunities arise in the future, then I can fucking take them with both hands. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I saw and I've shared as well the image that you shared some days ago about taking bookings for 2024, and I really hope that you get a lot of them because you're a great wrestler. We love you here in Costa Rica. We want to have you back here. There's gonna be
Of
some people
course.
that is going from RWA to SCW, but you can come back anytime you want. We just wanted
Yeah,
to let you
dude.
know.
Yeah, it's also too. It's cool that SCW and RWA are making the connection because both of you guys have been like a really important piece of while I've been here on this side of the world, Mexico and Costa Rica. RWA and SCW have been very important companies for me, especially to be able to apply my craft the way that I want to. Because in Mexico, obviously, there's a certain style and a certain way that some shows present and stuff. But like to be able to come and have the types of matches that I've had with like Renee and with Khlan, like it's been important to me. And also to remember that I can still wrestle, you know, after all that time that I had off in wrestling.
That's amazing. In this case, well, part of what we talked before and something that you mentioned here that you're putting your mind on besides wrestling, because at the end of the day, at some point we're gonna need some hobby or something extra that we need to do, and it's podcasting. So how
Yeah.
has been that trip for you? Has it been good or a new experience? That's what
No,
I
I
got
told
from
you.
the
Yeah.
previous conversation, that it's a new experience for
Yeah.
you.
I was thinking, I was just like, oh yeah, I said, but yeah, from what I told you guys before, like, and we were just talking as you were off the call, but like, it's just like because I'm like an old, like I'm like 36 now. It's like trying to keep up with the technology and like learn all like audio and fucking how the cables even plug in. I have to like Google and YouTube everything. So like it's been a very fucking like it's been a massive like learning curve of like that sort of technology. And then it's pretty easy at the end of the day, but like especially but when you don't know anything about it, it's like fuck, where do I even start? I don't know. I was like my first question when I started podcasting was like, where do I even record my voice? Like, what fucking app do I use? I don't
What do
even
you
know.
use? Yeah.
As I asked another podcast, I was like, what do you use? He was like, oh, I just use GarageBand or something. I was like, fuck. I was like, of course. Like, why would I even think of that? Like, you know what I mean? I had no idea. But like, it's been good. And, you know, as I said before, what's good about podcasting is when somebody asks you a question, you can like, I said before, but like, it's good therapy. Like, somebody asks you a question about your career or what you think about something, and it's just you on the microphone. Like, it kind of helps me collect my thoughts and how I feel about certain situations. So to be able to like verbally express how I feel is like been really good cheap therapy for me as well. So
Yeah, and that
Because
gives to the people. Sorry, Victor,
no worries.
and that gives to the people the opportunity to know how is your behavior, your person behind the
yeah,
character of Travis Banks, and that's good. That is a main reason to this podcast was made to the
yeah,
people knows the person behind the character. You know.
yeah. And that was important for me and Jess as well because we wanted to show people our who we are. You know, like me and Jess will just have like the silliest, funniest conversations at home. And I was like, why don't we just put this like in a recording so people can like share
Of
this
course.
thought as well. I was like, I'd like people to know what they think about this or how I feel about this. And so we were like, we might as well just record it. And you know, with every podcast, you start small and you build up. And you know, it's cool. It's like as you guys said, it's like an access to a fan base that I hadn't. It gives you more access to your fan base and the questions they want to know about you and stuff like that. And some of the questions that could just good good questions like, oh, people really care about what you're doing and you know
Yes.
and how you affect them and stuff. So you know it's been positive. So
Yes. Yes. It's keep you in touch in a more personal way to to your audience.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's actually truth because I mean we have heard it from wrestlers on RWA that has passed on this podcast, I'm sorry, that they have told us that like thank you guys for giving us that space, that little window to the world so they can know the people that we are behind the scenes. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah,
wrestling, even though we put too much of ourselves in our work, in our job in there, at the end of the day, we are presenting a character so people can be entertained. This podcast, so basically the main idea or the reason, the main reason why you starting creating this podcast was because of those conversations, right?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like I was just like, so sometimes Jess would ask me a question about wrestling, or like I'd tell her a story, and she'd be like, "That is so interesting. Like such an interesting thing. Like we should just put that like recorded. You know what I mean? Like so people could know that story. Otherwise, it gets lost to history or whatever. Or you know, maybe I have an interesting thought and that gets lost, or I forget about it or something like that. So it's just like I was like, oh yeah, that's good. And like again, it's like it's not like I've got the spare time at the moment to do something like that as well. Like I'm not like on a massive like big company schedule at the moment. So like while I have the free time, I may as well use it to connect to the audience. You know, especially now after obviously me leaving WWE and finding new fans in Mexico and Costa Rica and Guatemala and blah blah blah. Like being able to reach those new fans and like create those connections is like really important.
I can speak for Costa Rican fan, and the Costa Rican fan loves the interaction. They really like to be interacting with wrestlers. I mean, they can be on the show, they can be part of the show by booing you or by yelling at you something that it's not very polite. But at the end of the day, if they catch you or they see you after the show has ended, they see you in the venue, they ask you for a picture, they want to know you a little bit more, they are interested in knowing a little bit more of your life. So that's a good part to tell it. And as I mentioned on the previous conversation we were having, it's that time that you have to vent yourself to. Sometimes you think about a story as you said, or you think about something, an idea that you want to express to the world, that you want to share with the world, And
Yeah.
internet has given us that little corner of having a voice, having a space so we can share with people what we like, what we think about. So and you can do it freely while you're not harming anyone at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So you can do whatever you want.
And I think too with podcasting, it's a natural evolution of the business. Like I know there was like used to be a taboo subject in wrestling, like, oh, keep the fans there, and like your wrestlers here, the fans are there. Like they used to be really like that was how it was. But I think in the evolution of the business, it's important that like we do have that connection to fans through not podcast, but podcasting, but like social media and stuff like that as well, to make them like want to invest in what we're doing.
It's very good, and I really love what you're saying right now, Travis, because we have received some critics in the past that what we're doing is not wrestling and what we're doing is not related or shouldn't exist because at the end of the day we should learn more about it. And I mean, fuck him. You know what I mean? I can create a podcast with my partner here, with with my friend, my brother, and we can talk about wrestling. We don't need to be wrestlers to talk about wrestling. And at the end of the day, I think that the other part of the fans that love this show, love these interviews, they love it because of that. Because at the end of the day, we're offering something different that other people is refusing to do because of that mentality.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny about that as well? It's funny how like in every avenue of entertainment, there's always a critic to fucking talk shit about you. Like it doesn't matter what you do, actor, comedian, fucking podcaster, you're always gonna get somebody be like, "Hey, this is wrong." Like, okay, but why though? Because to me, it's about growing the business, and for you guys in Costa Rica, especially, you have a small scene, so to be able to have the platforms to reach out to the fucking world, like what's the harm in that? If your podcast helps Costa Rican wrestling grow, then how is that a negative? So what are those fucking guys even talking about? Either it's just fucking guys that wanted to be podcasters and are just insecure that their opinion isn't heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it is. So that to me that shit is just it's just fucking pissing into the wind. It's just dust. You know what I mean? It's just noise that doesn't mean anything. What means something is you guys are fucking taking the time to put fucking Costa Rica on a platform, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. And like a lot of wrestlers sometimes ask me like they go, oh, how do I get more eyes on me or whatever I do, and like I remember in SCW in Morelia, they asked me that question, like how do we, get more eyes on us, and like, or should we try and go elsewhere or whatever? And I said like, you know, like I'll give you an example. In the UK scene got so hot. WWE and every other fucking company looked into the UK and started taking talent out of the UK. So if you do something fucking like good enough and sick enough and you blow up fucking Costa Rica, fucking those companies are gonna look in anyway. So you may as well build up the platform where you are and like do the best work that you can possibly here. So it just annoys me that there's people out there that's like, oh, fucking, I love Costa Rican wrestling, and what you guys are doing isn't wrestling. It's like, yeah, but you're doing nothing to add to that, to fucking help that, to put eyes on Costa Rican wrestling, because you guys have the talent, you have the shows. Like, there is no reason that you guys can't fucking have international viewers looking at you guys. And when you have guys like yourselves podcasting, trying to promote the scene, it's important, and we should be supporting that and celebrating it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's an evolution of the business. I think that this is a tool to make bigger the business, the wrestling business, and get the spotlight from other persons or other companies or anyway or anything, to get the spotlight right here, and do the people say what they doing here? Is that
Exactly.
good?
I've always said it. Like I've just said, like if you can just if you feel stuck, but you're in your local scene, just try and your very best to grow that scene, because people
Yeah,
will start. If you start making a noise, people will start looking. Oh, who the fuck are these guys over here? Like in the last like shows that you guys, the vendettas you guys have done, you've had me, Marty, Flip, Tessa, Josh. Like
crazy
people,
show.
people start going, what the fuck what's happening over in Costa Rica if those guys are going over there? You know what I mean? And it just takes that little fucking like, in wrestling, things can change so fast as well. and it only takes a little fucking spark to like cause a fire, you know. And like it's like heads are starting to turn, and people starting to like more international traction. Like you're not that far off from it, and like your guys' show, like the RWA show as well. Like it's some of the best shows like independently that I've worked. So you know, because you take care of the presentation of it.
We,
It's a honor to hear that
yeah, we really
coming from
appreciate
you,
it.
of course.
We really appreciate it because at the end of the day, I mean, of course, we have received the same comments from other people, but as we have been talking a little bit on this conversation and the previous one, you have been a superstar that has gone from almost every part of the world. You have wrestled in a lot of countries. You have been in a lot of zines. Some of them
Yeah,
the biggest of the world as well. So at the end of the day, this kind of comments motivate us to keep growing, of course, to keep doing our good things. And what you were mentioning before, that we have to celebrate this kind of content, I really believe that as well, because at the end of the day, when I started back watching wrestling seriously, like being conscious of what I was looking at, it was like back in 2012, 2011, some more or less. And I wished at that moment, at that time of, I desired to have something like this, to have a space where I could see my favorite wrestler speaking about their lives, telling me stories. Sometimes the story of one person it's gonna be a big help for another one that it's stuck in something. Or
yeah,
I mean, like you guys that are wrestlers, and a lot of people that watches this, of course, wants to become a wrestler. I mean, we really appreciate that you love RWA, that you love Riot Talk as well, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys, for you wrestlers to have this space for everyone to know you,
yeah.
but also we're doing this for the people to have a little bit more of wrestling content, not being wrestling directly.
And for me, yeah, for me personally as well as a wrestler, obviously, but like it's important for me to go to scenes that like are like flourishing or not, you know, like they're just starting to flourish and really like try and help them out because like for me, that's fucking cool. If I can go to a scene and help build that scene and fucking bring more eyes to that scene and put all the guys over and help in any way I can. That's important for me as well because I want to be at the ground level of something special so people can go, oh, Travis fucking helped RWA, Travis helped SCW and Moralia. Like that's important for me because I want wrestling to grow as a whole, but correctly as well. And when you have a promotion like RWA or SCW that do things, you can tell that there's care towards the product. Like, you know, you got your screens, you fucking take care of the wrestlers, just the way things are like set up and the venues, and you're taking care of the angles and how the matches are produced and stuff like that. Those ones those are the ones that need to be nurtured, and that's why I always sing you guys praises or like SCW's praises because you can tell you guys care about that part of the business, you know. And at the end of the day, we all just want to entertain the fans to the best of our ability. Like whether you're the booker, the producer, the fucking music guy, or whatever. So when everybody cares and it's all a team effort, like it works.
Of
Yeah,
course.
that we definitely agree with that. I mean, you've been on our shows. You have seen the live entrances with live bands. You have seen the special effects. You have seen everything that we try to put on the table. Of course, every year we're trying to go one step higher, just
Yeah.
to keep improving ourselves, to keep feeling proud of what we do in here.
Oh yeah,
But
you guys fucking gave me like fire on my fucking entrance when I first came to the thing. I've got it on a photo.
oh yeah.
Oh, pretty good. It's a
That's
good
a
memory, bro.
great picture. Yeah, that's a great picture. That's the
Yeah,
better
I
one.
remember it came up. I was like, "Fuck this fire! That's crazy."
Nice, nice. No, we really appreciate that you enjoyed it. But let's go ahead and talk about something that we were talking before as well, that it's how Travis Banks started on wrestling.
Oh
Because
fuck,
I
shit.
Well, for me personally, I believe or I feel that it's a good story. It's a great story,
Yeah.
actually. So I want you to tell us for the second time to us what is the beginnings
Oh,
of
okay. I've
Travis
got the
Banks.
energy to do it. I can do it. Don't worry about it. Are you making sure that this is recording this time?
It's
Yes.
recording,
Definitely
and
recording.
it's going perfectly. Yeah, we're almost half an hour and it's going perfectly.
Okay, I'll try to fucking get into it. Yeah, so when I was very young, I was introduced to wrestling through my sister's boyfriend. Obviously, she's not with him anymore, but like this is way back. This is when I was like maybe 6 or 7, or maybe even 8. And my sister's boyfriend at the time, his brothers were watching WCW. I was a massive video game fan. I love Mortal Kombat. And went in, WCW was on, and it was Glacier versus Mortis was the very first match I ever watched. And it looked like Sub-Zero versus Shao Kahn, or some variation of the characters. And I was like, what the fuck? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. He's doing what the Kung Fu shit Glacier was. There's like, there was like snow coming down and stuff. And yeah, I was hooked like instantly. Like the characters were crazy. And like Sting and Goldberg were like my favorites. And then yeah, so in my head, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just subconsciously knew like I want to do that. That I don't know how. I just want to do that. And fast forward a little bit, as I was saying, like I bought like every wrestling autobiography: Chris Jericho's, Mick Foley's, Bret Hart's, Eric Bischoff's, Batista's, like fucking every book that was coming out. I was like buying. And it just sounded so much fun, and like that kind of like solidified my decision to start wrestling. I was like, I can't like waste any more time. I need to fucking do this, right? So anyway, fast forward to 2008, I was doing a sports degree in my home city, which is only like 20,000 people, not really a city, I suppose. And I was walking around with my best mate. And just all of a sudden, there was a fucking professional wrestling post. I didn't know independent wrestling at the time either, so it was crazy to me to even see anything like this. So anyway, we're walking, there was a poster on like a shop window, and it had Raven's face on it. ECW fucking Raven. And I was like, is that fucking Raven? So what's he doing here? Anyway, it said like live professional wrestling, Raven, blah, blah, blah. Me and my mate were like, we're going to buy tickets. So I bought like tickets, and this is what I didn't tell you before, but like we did like the meet and greet, and Raven, we were okay to take photos with Raven until he started realizing that we were taking too many photos, and then he started charging. He was like $10 a photo. We were like, fuck, like selfies. Like, oh, nah, that's right, dude. And he had like he went to like a dollar store, and he bought like little toys, and he was signing them and selling them for like $30. That's a lot of money, man. Like I was like, so already I was in like a bad mood about it. I was like, oh, fuck this dude. Like he's kind of an asshole. Don't be your heroes, sort of thing. And anyway, we watched the show, and the show was like I said before, it wasn't good. Like no guys had gear, nobody was in shape. I felt like because I worked out hard. Like I was like, because I've read all those books, what I said before, I read all those books, they said like to do like karate and work out and take drama. So I was like prepared to be a wrestler, man. I'd been working out, I'd been doing everything, playing rugby, doing karate, everything. And so like I was watching these guys, and like none of them were like in shape or like or athletic looking. And I was like, fuck, man, I think I could do this. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, fuck, I think I could do a better job than this. And Raven came out, and he had like the worst match I've ever like seen. Like he had like, I don't know, he had like fruit in his pocket. He had like an apple and a banana, and I don't know, there was like, it wasn't like a spot or anything. He was just pulling it out and like throwing it at people, like pretending to be on the phone with the banana. It's like, it's kind of like cringy to think about now. I was like, what the fuck? But anyway, I asked one of the guys who was working there, I was like, who's the promoter? And the guy who was sitting there, his name's Martin Sterling, this big fat dude. And I went over to talk to him, and I said, hey man, how do I start professional wrestling? So he gave me his number, and fucking for ages I ummed and ahed. I was like, fuck, should I do it? Should I fucking do blah blah blah? And I finally called him, and he was like, yeah, I've got a performance at like a WWE performance center in New Zealand. And I was like, oh, wow, fucking cool, let's do it. I was like, oh, in my head I was like, I don't know if that's true, but like I was like young and naive, so I was like, I'm gonna do this. So I left everything. I left my degree. I quit my degree. I broke up with my girlfriend. I left my rugby team. Like my whole like little town life, I kind of just like left. and moved down to Wellington. And the area that his gym was called Petone. And I turned up and I walked around the corner, and as I said before, it was just like this little shitty shed that had been built by his trainees in the 80s out of corrugated iron. And it was like painted like fucking like dark green. It was like next to a railway station as well. And because his trainees had built it, it wasn't up to code. It wasn't like no safety standards or anything. It was like when trains would come past, the whole fucking building would shake. And so I was like, oh my fucking God, I've like ruined my life. What have I done? I had like an argument with my parents before I left as well. They're like, yo, the fuck up. You gotta run away and join the circus. I was like, oh, I'll fucking show you guys. And then, yeah, so anyway, I turned up. I walked up to the door. There was a guy waiting there. And I was like, hey, man, like, what are you here for? He's like, kickboxing. And I was like, oh, shit, that's a red flag in my mind. And what's going on? And then another guy turned up. I was like, what are you here for? He's like, I'm just here for the course. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, okay. And then Martin eventually turned up. We went into the building. But I saw the wrestling ring. So, like, that was the thing that made me feel, like, better. I was like, fuck, at least there's a wrestling ring. At the very least. But what it was he wanted you to sign up to these courses. And he had sold it to me like it was a professional wrestling course. 7 days a week. We're learning fucking professional wrestling. You're going to be taking hip tosses, scoop slams, and choke slams and shit like that. And what it actually turned out to be was a troubled youth course that he had funded by the government, and he had to sign people onto the course to get funding. And then obviously you don't see the money because it's supposed to go to resources for the students or whatever, I don't know. So he would take all the money and just have you on this fucking random course that he had you signed up to. And so that's what it was. So anyway, so the very first day, because I didn't tell you guys before, we did wrestling. We did everything. We were like learning to bump, and I was like, this is the fucking greatest day of my life. I was like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to learn. Because he was a wrestler from the 80s. Not a very good one, as I found out a lot later. But yes, but he did teach me. And he was a good teacher as well, because he was real hard on you as well. He's always like, fucking do it again. Always. I was like, fuck. But so that whole first day we did one, and I turned up the next day, and he's like, no wrestling today. We're just gonna like mow the gardens, mow the lawn, and fucking weed the gardens, and fucking wash the windows. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I thought you told me this was a wrestling course. And he was just like, no, I didn't say that. I was like, what the fuck? I've moved my whole life here. You son of a bitch. So anyway, so yeah, so that's what it was. And then so that was during the day, and then there was a company attached to that place called NZWPW, and there was like trainings twice a week. So I was just literally in the ring every single day, like training my basics. And then I would train with the actual wrestlers on like Tuesdays or Thursdays or whatever it was at the time. But the thing was, because it was next to a train station, he had converted this fucking train carriage out the back into a room. And no, if you're thinking it looked nice, it didn't at all. It was like the fucking worst building I'd ever seen. And there was like mice and shit like running around the floors and stuff, because it was like just all open holes and stuff. And I lived there for like 2 years, and because I didn't need to be on his course because I'm not a troubled youth, so I just did it because he didn't know how to use a computer. So I just did all this like secretary work because he didn't know how to use his emails or anything. So I just did all his computer work for him. And so I lived there for like 2 years, just training and fucking wrestling and stuff like that. And yeah, well, here's the thing, because in Mick Foley's book, he said how he lived in his car just to train. Like, and I was thinking, every time I was like asleep in that fucking like train carriage and I could hear mice or something, I'd be like, if fucking Mick Foley can do this, I can do this. Like, that's honestly what I thought, because I had read it in his book. I was like, if he can do this, I can fucking do this. That's how I got through it.
And that's something that basically proves as well what we were mentioning before, that at the end of the day, the story from one person can be a treasure for another one, can helps to
Yeah.
motivate, to build up, helps to build up that dream that you had at that moment as a wrestler.
Well,
And
that's what I honestly thought that. I honestly thought if somehow I made it in this business, if somehow I get to some level of fame, I can tell the story and it'll be okay. It'll be cool.
Yeah, actually, let's go ahead and overview a little bit more because I mean, I was just double checking here. I was scrolling here on YouTube to check what could I found about Travis Banks, and I saw here a list of opponents that dropped my jaw. I mean, I've been following your career from some years ago, but I didn't have the idea that you, as an example, faced Will Ospreay. That actually that match is on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
How was it to face Will Ospreay? I mean, is it easy to work with him?
So in that period because I was in the UK for 6 years, and when I moved to the UK in 2015, it was kind of like I was 28 at the time, so I was thinking, I, I need to fucking do something, man. Like with my career, I need to go take a chance. And I had heard the UK scene was blowing up, so I was like, maybe I move there. Maybe I can, because I had been to the US like for like a short tour, and I was thinking about going back there. But then I actually met Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews when I was in the States. And then I messaged him and I was like, hey man, like if I came to the UK, would like, what do you reckon? And like Pete was like, yeah, you should come. Like it's really like cool at the moment. And to be honest, like they say timing is everything in wrestling. The time that I moved to the UK was like the exact right time because I slot it like within a year and a half. I was like Progress champion, Fight Club champion. I was like working PWG in America. I was
Oof.
like Rev Pro tag champion. I was like fucking ranked. I don't know what it was. It was like I can't remember the exact like the highest number that I was on PWI, but I was like number 64 or something on like PWI in
Oh,
like a year and a
Oh,
half since moving to the UK. So shit, as soon as I moved there, shit just started moving so fast. And all those guys I started wrestling, Pete, Tyler, Zack Sabre Jr., Osprey,
Walter. Well,
Shane Strickland was coming over, like doing tours at the time. Speedball was doing tours, like Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, everybody. I wrestled fucking everybody, and because I was like in that sort of slotted top position, I was also the one that had to always deliver on these like 25 fucking plus minute main events, like for the titles and stuff like that. And so like it was always like it was not stressful, but it was always like I was always like I have to fucking do the best job that I can. And then I actually wrestled Osprey to the one that's on my thing. I actually wrestled him a little earlier, and I like it. And it was a great match for that time for me. I was like, personally, this is my best match. But that one that's at Progress that's on my YouTube is like my best match hands down because I'm a better wrestler. And Osprey had just been doing his like Japan tours. I was Progress champ, just won it, so everybody was like hot and high on me. That show in itself was like a surprise show. So I came out, like, nothing was announced. So your music just plays, you come out, no cards announced, no like matches. I came out, so like my match came, boom, and everybody was like, "Oh fuck, Travis!" And then Osprey's music played, and everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And for Progress, it was like for that time, Osprey was like uh he was like the old face of the company, and I was like the new face of the company. So it was like a good fucking like crossover moment.
yeah.
And that match itself, like I think was one of my best that I've had, like to this day. And to answer your question, like any guys like that operate at that high level, and that's the guys that I've learned from as well. It's just easy, because we all think the same, especially at that time as well. Like I also had like exceptional, like amazing matches with Saber, like Zack Saber Jr. and stuff as well. And like it's the same. Obviously the styles are different, but like it's the same mentality. We're just operating on a fucking higher level of like how to fucking give the fans the best version of ourselves in that moment.
yeah. Hearing that, we may say that your movement was intelligent. You moved to the UK scene was a good movement for your
Career.
career or not?
Yeah, it was, and like, but also kind of like lucky as well. Like, yeah, maybe I'll just go there, and then get there. And like a year and a half later, I'm like champion. I was like, what the fuck? How do I do this? you know?
I
But it's
I
part of all this scene. You be champion. You have great matches, a great opponents, and I think it's part of a big pattern on the UK scene.
yeah, especially at that time, there was a lot. There was like 10 or 12 guys that were like really fucking like world class, and we were all just like having matches against each other like every weekend. And
Was
then yeah,
it was a great time for the UK wrestling, yes?
It was a golden
yeah,
era.
it was. And here's the thing, like I'm not money orientated, but like we were all like, if I would go on my merch table, I would just I wouldn't even think about it. I'd buy like a whole, but like say I'd get like 30 shirts, bring them to the merch table, I'd sell them all at like one show. And like I just thought it just became normal. Like that's how it was at that time. Like we'd just be selling fucking merch left and right. Like I'd make way more money on merch than I would on fucking like my match fee or whatever it was. And like and then sort of obviously as the scene like declined over a little like in 2019 and then obviously into the 2020, like I was just like, what the fuck's happened to all the money? Like why's nobody buying merch? You know, like it felt like odd that like it shifted. It was a crazy time, and like I can't even yeah, it was like a whirlwind of a time. Everything happened so fast, and yeah, it was crazy.
I want to ask you a question that I forgot to ask you previously on the other recording that we were making, and that I just got back when we were talking about a little bit of New Zealand, because the Fale Dojo is in New Zealand. So,
Okay.
what do you feel about the growing on wrestling in New Zealand? Because you were talking about New Zealand old school wrestling that was a little bit more amateur, that had this show that was a little bit bad, as you mentioned, and now you have a school in there, an academy of one of the best companies in the world, which is New Japan, of course.
In my experience, I don't really know what the scene's like now. But when I was in New Zealand, it was really, really fucking important to me that I grew that scene. And if I was to go out, and then, well, but that also then kind of led to my frustration a little bit because I was trying to grow a scene, but nobody felt like they were trying to help that growth. And um, so I got frustrated, and that's why I was trying to push always for more and leave and go out. And I thought, like, if I'm going to make a name for myself, maybe that would do more for New Zealand than like staying here and trying to fucking grow it from within. So like that, and also too, didn't want to just be in New Zealand the rest of my career, but like I really cared about that scene. And when I was there from like 2009 to 2015, it grew like not massive, but we actually did some pretty big shows. Like I think the most we had was like 400 or 500 or 600 people, and like for New Zealand that was like crazy. And I remember when I won the New Zealand title the first time, it was like maybe 500 people. I don't remember exactly, but that was like crazy. We were like, what the fuck? And but yeah, now I don't know. As far as I can see with the New Zealand wrestling, there's two things to it. Like with the Fale Dojo, that's great. That's a great connection between New Japan and New Zealand. But I think it's just that's it. You know what I mean? Whereas like the other companies are so like, there's so many like, shit, I don't know how to say this. Like, there's so many fucking like companies now that have like just kind of saturated like everything, and there's no like real like one standard of wrestler. Whereas like before, there was only like 3 or 4 companies in New Zealand, and everyone's like standard was like kind of like trying to keep up with everybody. So like the standard seemed a little bit higher, characters seemed a little bit more defined, but now I don't really know the scene, so I have no idea. It's kind of like an outsider looking in. But like as far as I can tell, it's just like a whole bunch of companies, and there's only very few guys standing out. Like there's this guy called Jamie Tangata SA who's fucking incredible. He's this massive fucking Samoan dude. Probably have that wrong. He might be Tongan. I'm not sure. I probably have that wrong. But so there's like him, and but then this one company came along called SPW. SPW in the South Island, because there's 2 islands in New Zealand.
Mhm.
In the South Island, and they actually got on TV. They got on TV. This was when I was in WWE as well. They got on TV and they actually sold out like 2,000 people.
Whoa.
But what had happened was I went, and also too WWE actually allowed me to go back to a whole bunch of like media with all the fucking radio stations, TV, morning TV and stuff. And then I also promoted they let me do that New Zealand show, that 2,000 seat one. So like that was like an incredible like once in a lifetime fucking thing, because after that the pandemic happened and that company's pretty much like they're still around, but they're not doing 2,000 fucking people anymore. But I hope they get back there because they were a really, really good company. But yeah, but for the rest of them, it just seems very like diluted across the board, and only very few people like stand out. And I don't know, but like I hope, well, maybe not me, or maybe me, I don't know, or like someone like Dakota Kai that's in or like Jay White, maybe the guys from New Zealand like see that and they go, we can push for more and be bigger stars, you know?
Well, actually,
Yes,
you
yes.
guys are superstars. I mean, look at the names you just mentioned. You are a great wrestler as well, a big superstar. You are known in a lot of parts of the world. So there's plenty of talent on New Zealand. I really hope as well that
Yes.
the scene grows up a lot and becomes a little bit more competitive because at the end of the day, it's really good when you get a talent. I mean, I'm not talking trash about the people that comes from the countries that are that are big countries in wrestling. But what I'm talking about, it's really good when you see a wrestler from a country that you do not expect, such as New
Yeah.
Zealand, Australia. Well, these countries here in Latin America as well, Chile, Argentina. When you see a guy with a talent that could be world class, coming from this country that doesn't have a wrestling culture itself, for me, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think what we were saying it earlier on this one, or it might have been the last one. I don't know. I can't remember. But like that's why I'm saying it's so important for people to come together. Like, oh, that's what we were saying. Like the podcast giving it a platform and stuff like that. But it's why it's important for like everybody to, even on whatever fucking level you're on, to try your hardest. Put your brand out there. Put fucking content online. Because you never know who's watching. And if your fucking if your country or your company gets hot enough, people will look. It doesn't matter that it's a local small scene. Just take care of the business, and it will like if you put in everything towards the business, you will get those rewards. And I think like for example, RWA, they've if I can use it as an example, like you I know I spoke to Gabriel about it. Like he spent a bit of money on that first vendetta, probably lost out a little bit of money, but look at everything that he's gained from it. You know what I mean? International recognition. People are looking at this company and wanting to work there. I have fucking people messaging me now like, "Hey, bro, what's the contact for RWA?" I'm like, "Hey, man, it's my company. I'm not fucking telling you. Nah, I'll tell them." But you know what I mean? Like it's good though. That's good. That means that they're hearing about it, and like international people are hearing about it. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool.
No,
So
but you're part
Travis,
of the you're part of the house. I mean, you're
yes,
RWA. You're
of
an
course, of course.
RWA guy. I mean, we don't have you here full time, but you are part of the RWA roster.
Of course, of
And
course.
to be honest, that's special to me, man. Like honestly, that risk. Obviously, Khlan beat me in the last match, and obviously, me and Jesse were walking out, and the fans aren't looking at Khlan. I'm sorry, bro. They're all looking at me and Jesse, and they're just clapping me and Jesse. And I was just like, "Fuck, man, that's fucking like." And I said before, but like I didn't even know that I had fans in Costa Rica, you know. So then when I came out as a surprise in that first vendetta, and I got that reception, that like meant a lot to me. And then to then have that moment from fucking two matches that I've had in Costa Rica, like with the fans, was like I was like, this is fucking unbelievable. This is unreal. Like I would never in my wildest dreams have expected this to happen. Um, you know.
And
Yeah,
are you aware that your biggest fan, you faced it 3 times in Costa Rica? Clan is your biggest fan. He told
Clan is
us
my biggest
the other day.
fan.
Yes, he
yeah,
told us
he
the other
told
day in the
us
podcast. He
that.
said
Yeah.
that he follows your career from NXT UK.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. That I don't know if that makes me feel old or not, or like, but like, but like, yeah, it's nice, man. Like he, yeah, all respect. Just yeah, he's been an incredible opponent to have and to boost me up in a country that nobody knew who I was. I mean, like I hadn't been there before. Like to be able to wrestle him and have those caliber of matches, and then be received by the public like that is, it's also a credit to him. Like it's not just me that you have to give credit to Khlan as well because he was obviously my fucking dance partner in this. So so yeah, so when I hear that, it's nice as well, and he's told me it as well. And like, I think for me personally as a wrestler, like you always worry about what legacy you're leaving behind. Like I always want to do good work. I always want to go places and fucking put on the best match that I can. Like that's regardless of if you fucking hate me, love me, or whatever, like I know that my work, like professionally, you will get the fucking best match that I can physically give you in that moment or in that promotion. And you know, like it's important, or it's important, and it's also very fucking nice to hear stuff like that where Khlan's like, I'm a big fan, because my work has been so important to me. And when people receive, like, they tell me that, like, oh, I love this match, or this was a fucking awesome match and stuff like that, that makes me feel good because I put a lot of work into those matches.
All right, that's a
Yes.
very good answer. Let me ask you, because we already talked about some big opponents, but you don't have to have a big name to be a big opponent. And I want to talk about one of the greatest matches for me personally you have had on SCW, that is with Rene Rocks. I want you to tell a little bit to the Riot Talk fans who is Rene Rocks, what made you feel wrestling with him, what do you think about the match? Because as mentioned, for me personally, it's one of the best matches that you had in SCW.
So Renee is the promoter for SCW.
Wow.
Um, he, I think he's been to Japan. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, so he's of all the opponents that I've wrestled, I would put him in my top 10 of all the wrestlers. Osprey, Saber, up there with those guys as well. Just to come to Mexico, and like obviously there's a lot of guys in Mexico that like I just don't click with, or like they want to be lazy, or they kind of just don't really understand my style or whatever. But for whatever reason, it wasn't, it was so easy with Renee to have that match, both matches. Um, the first one was good, and the fucking second one was even better. And I can't stop singing his praises. He's also, more importantly than being a good wrestler, he's also a good human. He really took care of me every time we've been to Morelia. He's really taken care of me and Jess. He always like goes out of his way to make sure that you're looked after, or like he even just shoots me messages sometimes to see how I am, and I do the same for him as well. And he's just it's the same mentality. Like the way he runs SCW is like the same mentality I found in RWA. It's just, it's really like a community. Like you guys are really trying to fucking put something together that's special, and that's why I like that RWA and SCW are working together, because you kind of like share the same core values. And those just those matches, it was what it was. It's when somebody says strong style, those are the matches that I would be like, this is what strong style is. Like when I do it, and that's how I like to do it, because it was more about fucking like heart and determination and fucking fighting spirit, and then just like doing cool moves. You know what I mean? It was like fucking like, and you could feel the emotion in the room and with those fans. And yeah, I can't say enough about him either. He's fucking awesome.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, Travis, I want to ask you about a part of your career that everybody wants to know about it. How was work with the biggest company in the world, with WWE? How it was your path and the company, and you enjoy it? Tell us a little about it.
Um, it would no obviously. So I have to I have to be grateful for the opportunity that I was given. Um, it's kind of like a little. I'll go through it. So at first, well, a cool little backstory was in 2014, I had a tryout with WWE in Australia, and I wasn't anybody, nothing. I was just on the New Zealand, Australia scene, whatever. And then I knew like they weren't going to pick me up. They give you like a yes, no, or a maybe. And if you get a no, that's like definitely no. But if you get a yes, if you get a maybe, if you get a yes, you're in. But if you get a maybe, it's like we're watching you, just like see what you do. And at the end of that tryout, um, the recruiter was sitting in the office, and we were all kind of like walking out, and I was like, I'm just gonna take my chance. So I walked into the office. I was like, hey man, I just wanted to know like, what do I have to do to be a part of this company? And he goes, to be honest, Travis, if you go away and make a name for yourself, you'll probably be in. And I was like, that's exactly what I'll do. That's what I said to him. I was like, I'll do that. Don't worry about it. I don't know why I said it like that. It's fucking weirdo, stupid kid. But like, so that's how it had in my mind. And the thing was with that tryout, I was so fucking nervous and stressed, and I fucking worried, and how they're gonna fucking this and that, and like I was like stomach aches like the week before the tryout. I was like a fucking mess at that tryout. So like the fact that nothing came of it, like really, like I was like, oh no, fuck, I've ruined my chances. But then when he was like, go away and make a name for yourself, I was like, all right. Then I moved to the UK and everything fucking happened. Fast forward to the next WWE tryout that I had. I was Progress Champion, done PWG, fucking pretty much everything. I didn't even care to be at the WWE tryout. Not that I didn't care, but I was just like, meh, I've got other things. I'm doing other things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you were
And I
not
remember
as
being,
nervous as you were
yeah.
the first time, maybe.
Yeah, no way, because I was just like, I fucking, if I get this, cool. If not, I'll go to Japan or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And so halfway through the tryout, I was standing there like we'd been fucking doing whatever matches or something. William Regal comes up next to me halfway during the tryout, and he goes, Travis, just get through this weekend. You're already signed. And I was just like,
Oh,
I was like, excuse me?
Of course.
And the first thing that I thought was that 2014 tryout, how like I'd be nervous and fucking like blah blah blah, and then at the end I was like, I'm gonna go make a name for myself, and then fuck, I'm halfway through this tryout, and they're like, don't worry, you already signed. I was like, fuck, there you go. Like I was like, how did I fucking do that? That was crazy. And then and then obviously we did the first. We did well. There was there was a UK tournament that Pete and Tyler were in the finals of, but I was in the second one, and I went to the finals with Zach Gibson, and that was crazy because that was kind of like my first. And we'd done actually shit. I forgot about that. Actually, when I did WrestleMania, WrestleCon weekend, we actually went and did some dark matches with WWE, just like some fan access at WrestleMania thing. So that was kind of like my entry. Nothing too exciting. It was kind of just like fans were. It was like morning shows and stuff. So like the fans were just like, so I was just like, but whatever. So it was cool though. It was like fucking super positive weekend. But my first real entry into WWE was this UK tournament, and I had 3 matches in one night. So because obviously I was going through to the final, so like everybody else was kind of like, oh, we've got 1, so we're all chilling, and I'm like fucking super stressed because they're gonna do 3. But it was fucking good because it was just like shit was just happening, right? Fucking Shawn Michaels, Triple H turn up, first time we meet them. Hello guys, how you doing? Blah blah blah. And then they're just planning, this is what we want from the first match, this is what we want from the second, blah blah blah, and this is the final. Okay, cool, sweet. Go out, do my first match, come back, they're super happy, give me advice. All right, get ready for your next one. Fuck. Go back, come back, they're like fucking great, blah 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 blah. Do the fucking final with Zach, come back, and then they're just hugging, like Shawn Michaels was like hugging me, like throwing me up like this. And I was just like, what the fuck is what? What is happening right now, I watched you for like fucking forever, like it's like it was like insane. And like I remember being in my hotel room that night and being like, this is the most fucking incredible thing. And it was at like the Royal Albert Hall in the UK as well, which is like the big, like a really fucking like prestigious venue. So like that was like insane as well. And then anyway, so then NXT UK started from that. And at first they had massive plans for me. They were like really pushing me. We were doing like loads of main events and stuff like that. But we were able to rest well because the contracts went for a lot of work. So it was only like every 6 weeks we would like film TV tapings. We'd go down and film whatever. We were still allowed to wrestle indie dates. So we were still allowed to wrestle indie dates until I was the reason they changed the contracts. So I had a Fight Club Pro show the night before a TV taping for WWE, and I dislocated my shoulder at the show.
Oh.
And I was supposed to be in like the main events and stuff like that. And I came in the next day, my arm in a sling, and they were just like, "What the fuck?" I was just like, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, guys." And then I was supposed to be out 6 months, and then I came back in 3 because I rehabbed real fast. And at first they were kind of using me good, but at that point, other guys had kind of come in, like Ilya Dragunov would come in, and like they were pushing Jordan and like Tyler and stuff, like more those guys. And I don't know if like losing my spot is the correct term. I don't think that. And like I kind of got a little bit like annoyed and angry with it. And then over time, I was kind of just they just pushed me as a good guy on as a face on TV, and that they were just giving me matches. Now for me, I know if you don't have like character segments, like to get your character over, you're kind of like dead in the water. You don't. It doesn't really matter if you're there or not, right? So I was going in fucking like all the time pitching. Hey, turn me heel. Do this. Do that. Do this. I've got all these ideas. Here's my fucking notepad. Bang. Here you go. Because we got told this is what you do, right? And they're like, no, we love you. Like, we love you as a face. We love what you're doing. And I was like, but I'm not doing anything, guys. Like, yeah, I'm wrestling here and then on like on TV, but it's just like it wasn't much. It wasn't like much, and that's why I wrestled Brian actually as well. So that was great. So I started just getting more and more fucking like sad. You know what I mean? I was just getting more and more fucking yeah. But the thing was, they did give me a lot of like good things. Like I was able to go to NXT in America and wrestle like Pete one time and Jackson Riker on another TV, and then I did the fucking Worlds Collide 4-way with Angel Garza, Swerve Strickland, and Jordan at the Houston Toyota Center, I think it was, and that's like the most people I've ever wrestled in front of. I think it was like 14,000 at that time, and like yeah, and that match was fucking like awesome as well. And then the fucking same thing when we came back. Shaw was like hugging us as well. He was like really happy with the match. And then I think that was like my last match before I got fired. So I'm like, oh, this fucking everything's happening, and then nothing. So yeah.
Oh, well, but the good part about it is that you could find your own place. I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing great nowadays. You've been here in Costa Rica. You're doing it great in Mexico as well. So, I mean, it was a great experience, of course. I guess that everybody that loves wrestling would like to be involved with WWE at some point. But at some point as well, because of the stories that I've heard, because what you have tell us, because of what we see on other podcasts and other content, sometimes the frustration and the pressure of doing something that you feel that it's not contributing to the business doesn't worth, that was the word that I was looking for, doesn't worth
Yeah.
the time there. So at the end of the day, well, you got fired, of course, but you were able to continue with your career, to keep getting bookings, to keep building a name for yourself worldwide.
And what's crazy as well is because when I got fired, I went like obviously everything that happened as well. So like I went through like a really like hard time mentally thinking, shit, man, nobody knows who I am anymore. Like I had such a fucking meteoric rise in the UK, got signed to the WWE, did PWG and all that stuff, and then NXT UK seemed to have call a lot of wrestlers off. And then I came out and obviously fucking the speaking out movement and stuff like that. But then like that's like I was just like, I don't fucking know like who would even know me anymore. Even going to Mexico. The one thing that the one saving grace that I knew coming to Mexico for me mentally was I know if I go there and I wrestle, they will like me. I know my work is fucking valuable. So if I go there and wrestle, they will like me. So that was what kind of kept me focused. But then to your point is like then I came then coming here and realizing the impact that NXT and NXT UK and WWE had on me because of all the fans. Like the fans are like, I fucking always watched you on NXT UK, and then even when I came to Costa Rica, everybody's like, oh, I know you from NXT. Like I was just like, shit, this really had a fucking bigger impact than I thought. But I didn't see that at the time, and I kind of feel like a little bit stupid that I didn't like appreciate it more when I was there.
Well, it's a little bit hard when you're on a dark place, but that's the good thing, that what we were talking about, not staying there, build up your, I mean, at the end of the day, you are when you're a wrestler, you are your own tool. You are basically your own supportive person. Of course, later on the way, you find another people that, of course, it's going to be supportive, such as the case of Jessie. At some point, you knew her and she became a great supportive person for you. But yeah, I know that sometimes, and what you mentioned, it's really true. I mean, sometimes when you are on a dark place on your mind, it's very hard to appreciate the good little things that are happening because this bad thing seems to be bigger than everything else. And at the end of the day, when you start appreciating those things, everything else gets better. And I think that that's what happened to you. At the end of the day, you started seeing what was the good part of life, what had what you had to do in order to become a better person and of course to become a better wrestler because at the end of the day we want to be better than yesterday. And that's the good thing. I mean, at the end of the day, we have been with you here in Costa Rica. We have shared with you our locker room, and we know that you are such an amazing person. We love you here. You have a lot of fans here. It's very funny for me because I see a lot of Kiwi t-shirts after Vendetta on our shows. Not only
Yes,
from
I love
our
it. Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty a lot of Busa Kiwi T-shirts in
yeah,
the crowd.
yeah, and not
This
only
past event, I see a lot of blue shirts in the
yeah,
Yeah.
crowd.
and not only from our guys on RWA because I know and we know that you have inside RWA a lot of fans, but also from the audience of RWA to see that shirt there and to see how much they love you and how much they love Jesse as well. That just make me think that at the end of the day we are going the right way. And if we keep that way, there's nothing that can stop us.
Well, so I speak about this with Jess all the time, but we talk about like obviously the shit that's happened, me being fired, and all the bad shit that came along with that after. And she was just like, it's crazy how like sometimes you can go back and you can wish like, oh, I wish that never fucking happened to me. But I don't feel that way at all. I don't have that regret because what it's done is like led me to this path in Mexico where I have met well obviously I've worked great shows, but I've also met exceptional people that are important to me in my life now, and I wouldn't fucking change that for anything, you know. And that like it's crazy to think that I would say nah, I wouldn't go back and take that back. Like it's like well, it's actually led me to a fucking way cooler place, a cooler journey that I've been on. Like I never thought I'd ever wrestle in Costa Rica or Guatemala or fucking Mexico, like the way where I have in Mexico, like wrestling on like mountaintops and shit in Mexico. Like this is like the crazy, like it's the crazy experience. It's fucking hard. I'm not gonna say it's like the easiest or anything like that, but it's also like yeah, led me to some really fucking beautiful moments in my life and also like beautiful revelations about the business and like my worth as a wrestler. Whereas I didn't feel that way before all this. I felt like very devalued, very fucking as we were talking about in a dark place and stuff. And now I feel like oh shit, I still do have a worth as a wrestler. I still do have stuff to give the wrestling community, and I still have fucking like plenty of good matches to fucking
Yeah.
to give the audiences and stuff. So
Yeah, I hope that
Yes.
you can keep growing in the Latin American path and you can get to other companies here in Latin America. We have a couple of partners here that we love to mention. One of them in Panama, GWE, and another one. GWE is the company from which Ricky Fisher is from. And we have another company that it's in an alliance with us that is Catch Argentino that I
yeah,
really
oh
hope
yeah.
that you can get there because those guys are crazy as well. But yeah, I hope that you can get more bookings in Latin America because I want you to live, not to see, not to see through a window. No, I want you to live the
To taste.
revolution and taste the revolution of the Latin American wrestling because I feel that we are on a golden era. I mean, our wrestling is growing a lot.
It definitely feels that way. Like there's an untapped fucking potential of like growth that you guys are sort of just starting to fucking like break into. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing here as well, like the fans feel so fucking raw and passionate. Like they haven't been like corrupted by like an American audience. Like they're
Yeah.
still here. Like they're still fucking willing to like throw their hearts into it.
There's a couple because normally our interview lasts 1 hour, and
Yeah.
oh well, I have to congratulate the new software because it has record the entire interview with no problems. That's something that I have to point out. I have a couple more questions. I don't know if Cosby have one. One,
Yes,
it's
I
for
have one and a very important one.
okay. Okay, so mine one is for fun and the other one it's a little bit serious. So can if you want you can go first, Cosby.
Okay. So this is a more personal question, my friend. So tell us a little about it. How do you meet Jesse Jackson?
Oh, I thought it was gonna be serious. Like, fuck, you gonna grill me about something. Uh, she through wrestling, obviously, she started training in a school in the UK called shit, House of Pain, and the training there was called Sticks, and she started there, I think, for about a year or so, and then I was on and off running the Fight Club Pro Training School in Birmingham, and I might have seen her maybe 3 or 4 times. Like she was training there consistently, but because I was going back and forth with WWE at the time, like I wasn't there too much at that point. And so that's how I met her. But then she was like helping out at shows at that Fight Club, that this thing. And what oh fuck. What I liked about her the most was she didn't actually care about too much about wrestling outside of it. Like if you weren't at shows, it didn't really matter. So like I was like, oh, I like that because I don't really want to speak about talk about wrestling. Stressful at the best of times, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then it was kind of just natural, and then that's how we met, and then yeah, and fucking just I like just I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, but like when the amount of growth she has shown since like coming to Mexico, like if you watch some of her like starting matches in Mexico to like compared to now, it's like night and day. It's like a completely different wrestler. So I think she like probably studies me too much and just beats people up. But yeah, no, she trains everywhere. She like trains with me. She trains with Ricky Marvin. She's trained with Ultimo Guerrero a little bit. She's trained. Who else she been doing? Skydig. That was when we first got here.
She trained
But
with
yeah,
us
she
here.
like she makes the effort to go and really put herself out there and really try and improve her her herself. And then I don't want to say too much, but there could be potentially big things in the future for her. So, I'm really like
Oh,
excited to see where she's going as a professional wrestler because
well,
she deserves it as well. She had to fucking look after me through all this fucking hardships and fucking tears and fucking getting me out of bed and fucking making sure I get to trainings and stuff like that when I really didn't want to. So, you know, um, she deserves all the success, or so.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the answer. And sorry if I be unrespectful, but I just have a doubt, and I think that our crowd deserves to know the story about both of you.
Oh, that's all right. No, it's all right. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
okay.
Victor, go ahead.
Okay, no, wait. Well, before I ask my questions here, I just want to point out that she is incredible in the ring. I mean, we enjoyed a lot her participation on the Riot Brawl. We hope that soon, because I mean, we know that she's doing great things on the UK right now, but we hope that soon we can have her here one more time. Maybe have her on a one-on-one match with one of the girls to
Yeah.
test them out because I know that Jesse can give them a lot of experience, can share with them a lot of this knowledge that she has on wrestling, and I'm sorry, we really want you guys to be on Costa Rica again. We really
Me
hope
too.
this year. We really hope this year because
Yeah,
we love you. We
Me
love you
too.
here.
I want to see Atenea wrestling Jesse
Well,
Jackson.
that's a good match, actually. That's a good match. That's a good match. But I'm gonna ask you my final two questions. The first
Okay.
one is the serious one, and the second one it's one that I know that even Cosby is gonna laugh at. But the first one, what are your expectations on the anniversary of SCW? What are you expecting? What do you think about the guys that are coming from RWA? Do you think they are gonna do a good job? The crowd, it's gonna be hard on them, or what do you think?
No, no, the guy's gonna do fine because that crowd's incredible. Um, I'm just, I'm super, super happy that SCW is doing another anniversary show, and I hope, they sell out just as much as they did last time because it was fucking crazy last time. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, man. I actually forgot that match. I forgot that match was coming up, but that's gonna be incredible. I don't know what my match is yet though, but those guys, I'm really happy that the RWA guys are getting to travel for professional wrestling. Like I think it's their first trip away. I'm not sure. Like some of them maybe,
Some of
I
them,
don't
yeah.
know. And like so, like that's gonna be like one of those like things that is always gonna like stick in their mind as like a really positive move forward in their careers. So.
Yeah, tell Renee that we're waiting for them here as well. We're waiting for some
Okay.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. I
guys
will, I will.
here.
Please.
Well, I know that he's gonna watch this podcast. I know it for a fact, but I want him to know that we're waiting for him as well because I mean, we love that they are taking our guys there, but I'm pretty sure because of the style and because I've been watching wrestling for a lot of years here in Costa Rica and sharing my thoughts with a lot of people here in Costa Rica. I'm pretty sure that the guys from SCW are gonna rock here. They are gonna destroy the ring.
Yeah.
And my second
Yeah,
and
no, it's gonna be good.
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's gonna be good. I know. Yeah, the show will be awesome. I have a great time.
Yeah.
Of course.
And my final question. We are gonna take a laugh on this one.
The
Would you
funny one.
rather Cody or The Rock at
Oh,
WrestleMania?
you stole my question, bro.
um, Cody.
Cody. Yeah, we too. We too.
I
We
think
all
it's the
want.
best bet to say Cody, isn't it? No, I just remember when I was a kid and like something like this, they'll do like a misdirect or like somebody would get the main event or whatever, and like I'd just be so disappointed because and then people would make the argument, yeah, but that person's the biggest star. I was like, I don't care. I just watch wrestling. I don't give a fuck if like The Rock's the biggest star.
Yeah.
Like I just like wrestling, man. Like if it's a good story or whatever. So like yeah, Cody. I obviously.
Yeah, that point is important, but for the promoters, just for them, we love to see great wrestling.
Yeah. And do you know what's crazy as well? Like when I was on the UK scene was when Cody Rhodes was doing the UK as well. Like I was working What Culture Pro Wrestling, and he was like doing the shows. I didn't get to wrestle him, unfortunately, but he was like working those shows as well. So like I've seen him grind it out on the independent scene to change the narrative around him, build himself up to be bigger. So like for like a personal journey that I've seen like firsthand, like
Yeah.
that's obviously yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I mean, at the end of the day, it is kind of the same path. I mean, you have this opportunity. Well, Cody had the bless that he was almost raised inside WWE, so he knew firsthand what he needed to be in there. But it was
Yeah.
not enough. I mean, at the end of the day, he needed to go outside WWE, build a name for himself, do great matches outside WWE, give us classics that we're not gonna forget, and then come back to create his
Start
own wrestling
their own
company.
company.
Yeah, open his
Yeah.
own wrestling company, create it from scratch, and then go back to WWE. For me
Yeah.
personally as well, I feel the same as you. I feel a little disappointed because at the end of the day, if you're giving us a story and this story is going good, we are buying this story, we are liking what we are having, we're rooting for it,
Yeah.
and you at the end of the day say something like, okay, we're almost at the end of it, I'm gonna screw it up. I mean, what the fuck, bro? I mean, don't
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
this to me,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember like I get that when like The Rock came out and I watched it. I just for some reason in my head I flashed back to when I was a kid and like something would like they'd swerve you or something. I don't remember any like example off the top of my head, and you just be like, "Fuck, man, what? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just play."
And the bad part about this, and what I feel personally hurts the most for me, is that I love The Rock. I mean, I am a huge fan of The Rock. I love him as a wrestler. I love him as an actor.
Who
And what
don't?
and what he's doing right now, it's like yeah, you know what, dude, you're punching my heart out.
Yeah, I think though sometimes we remember obviously like I have like an idea of the Rock of the Attitude Era, so like that's like nostalgic in my mind and like really like that, but he's not that anymore, is he? So this is like yeah, I
Yeah.
like the Rock from back then. It's
Yeah,
like
you
now
got
it's
Yes,
it.
like
yes.
I mean, you got it,
Yes.
you got it correctly. I mean, at the end of the day, we just let ourselves go with the past and with what we believed or loved in back then, and that's
Yeah,
not that anymore. I mean, I will say it again. I love The Rock. He's one of my favorites wrestlers. He's on my top 10, I'm sorry, of historical
yeah.
wrestlers, I'm sorry. But I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes your heroes do things that are gonna make you feel disappointed. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that the three of us, we are all rooting for Cody because he deserves that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Travis, we're moving forward now on the podcast. We're going now to the final part of the podcast, but not, but not. It's not gonna
The
be
less
boring here.
important.
This is the best part actually for most of people. So what we're gonna do is the following. I'm gonna ask you the questions, and Cosby is gonna do the kickouts with you. I'm gonna explain to you a little bit fast what is the following. So we're gonna do the no disqualification questions. They know disqualification questions are basically questions that we got from our audience on RWA. So
Okay.
we have a lot of questions here. We're very glad that they wanna know a little bit better, and we also have a question from Jesse. So just yeah, just be there expecting.
That's a
And
spoiler, bro.
after, yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
And the second part of this, well, of this little segment
Segment.
in the podcast is gonna be the kickouts. The kickouts is basically Cosby is gonna tell you a word, and you have to
Yeah.
respond back with the first thing that comes to your mind. It can be a word or it can be a phrase, but it has to be like that, like the first thing that comes to your mind.
This might be dangerous, man. This might be fucking.
Okay, okay,
No, no,
let's
we're
go.
good people. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah, don't worry. Actually the kickouts. Don't get confused because of the name, but actually the kickouts is like the least pressured part because it's
Yes,
Okay.
like the most relaxed one. It's easy words, just
it's
the
a
first
chill
thing that
part.
comes to your mind. Yeah. Okay, let's go with the questions first. All right, I'm gonna start with this one. Thoughts about your rivalry with Khlan?
Awesome. I fuck.
Awesome.
We spoke about it, but it's like incredible. It's like I feel like it's. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I felt like we've raised a standard or maybe raised the bar for Costa Rican wrestling.
A lot of.
That's so true, Travis, that the specialized media here in Costa Rica use you as an example of what a guest wrestler from abroad has to do when they come here to Costa Rica. So,
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice to hear, to be honest.
yeah, you're like you actually are like the top one. I mean, everyone that thinks on a guest here, what they think is it has to do the same or better than Travis Banks. I mean, that's what I've heard here.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
As I said before, the thing with that as well is like when I come to like for me personally, like if I'm going to Costa Rica, they're gonna go to the trouble of flying me from Mexico City to Costa Rica, put me up in a hotel, have a fucking a match with the local guy. I want to give you guys the fucking best show that I can. I'm not here for a fucking payday. I'm here to fucking create history or create a fucking great match or create memories and fucking send those fans home happy. That's my job at the end of the day. So like that's where that
You
comes from, essentially.
you already did it here in Costa Rica, bro. You already did it.
yeah, you're a legend here.
Well,
Um,
well, fuck this.
It's true. It's
okay,
true.
the next one. What's the best thing about doing spots with fans besides breaking some chairs?
I don't know. Fuck this. To me, it's like I think the fans don't expect how fucking interactive I'll get with them. So like when they like get involved in the show, and then I want them to go home and be like, "Do you fucking remember when Travis fucking like did this?" You know what I mean? Do you fucking remember when the chair broke under me? And Travis like sat on me, like you know what I mean? I want them to go home with a good memory. So that's the best. You know what I mean? That's the best part about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that we just gave here on this podcast the key for international wrestlers that comes to Costa Rica to be successful here. Just interact with the audience. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Just go in the audience and jump on them. That's all. That's all they want.
okay, this is the question from Jesse. Do you miss me?
Every podcast she asks me this. Yeah, of course, of course.
So
I'm going
lovely.
crazy. I'm going. I've been in this fucking house for like a week and a half, and I'm like going crazy by myself.
Oh, you're so lovely, bro.
Yeah,
Hurry up, Jesse. He's getting crazy there.
it's gonna come over having my hair ripped out. Where have you been?
Okay. Can we get you and Jesse full time in RWA?
Yeah, if you pay me the colonies, I'll
Yeah,
come, bro.
Yeah,
that's the
of
most
course.
important part. If you can pay the salary, of course.
I'll fucking move there in a heartbeat.
Okay. Who do you want to face one on one next time you're here in Costa Rica? Now that you close the rivalry with
Um,
Khlan.
Tony Noah.
Ooh,
Ooh.
god damn.
Damn,
God damn, what
he's
a
our
match.
champ, you know. So
I
it
know, I
sounds
know.
like
That's why I said it. I know he's the champion.
okay. It sounds like a challenge for me, or not?
Yeah,
International
maybe.
Maybe.
superstar. I
Just
mean,
gonna put it out there if the fans want to make it happen.
Tony, I mean, I remembered when we on After Riot, that is a show that we are here that we have here on RWA, that is a talk show, a TV show.
Yeah.
And I remember Bruce, one of our commentators, he was like mocking the fact that we were mentioning Tony Noah as an international superstar. And I believe that 1 year after that, there's no a bigger example of international superstar than Tony Noah here in Costa Rica. The guy has gone wrestle on Argentina. He was last year on Panama as well. We have had here two
Honduras.
guests with you. The first one was Matias Dragonetti, an Argentinian wrestler that challenged Tony as well. So I guess that he is the international superstar that 1 year ago we were mentioning as a character, and now it's a
Yeah.
reality.
To me, so I'll tell you why is that exactly, and why I like Tony is because you can tell that he cares about wrestling. You can tell that whatever he's doing, he's putting his fucking whole heart into. You can tell by the gear that he's got. You can tell, you know what I mean? Like even backstage, he's asking me for advice and what he should do and this and that. And like that's like rare. To be honest, it's like scary rare in wrestling that people do that. Like come up to me and ask me for advice. You know what I mean? Obviously, it happens, but like he was like, "Bro, what do you think about this? What should I do here? This." And you can tell that he's like put effort into his gear. You can tell that he's put effort into his like brand, which is a big important fucking thing with wrestling. You have to put like all your fucking. You don't need a gimmick. All you need is a fucking good brand. If you're worried about a gimmick or being a big character, don't worry about that. If you don't feel like you can be comfortable doing that, just worry about your look and your brand, your color scheme, your fucking entrance music and stuff like that. So people can go, if I go, oh, what does Tony Noah look like? I can fucking visualize it in my head. You know what I mean? That's why I got like the fucking flag mask. That's why I started with that because I wanted people to like what TV buzzsaw, and then they think about it. It's like that motherfucker with like the New Zealand flag that's ripped on his like face. Like those are things that are important, and I can tell that he's still at like a certain like he hasn't had as much experience as like everybody else, but like you can tell he's really like thinking about it and putting an effort into it and like passionate about moving forward in his career.
That's a
Of course.
fucking awesome question. Okay, answer. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. What has been the greatest achievement in your career?
Fuck. Being able. Okay, here you go. Being able to travel and be on this journey with Jess.
Oh, that's an awesome question. That's an awesome question.
That's a
Uh,
gentleman
answer.
answer.
Because
I don't
here's
know
the,
why
here's
I'm
the
saying
thing, man.
yes.
Like, there has been like obviously fucking cool things that I've done. PWG was incredible. Winning the Progress title in front of like 2,000 people in the UK at like the peak of fucking Brit Rest was like insane. Doing fucking Royal Albert Hall for WWE, those are incredible, man. But like, they don't live up. They don't compare to fucking being able to share a fucking awesome journey and experience with like my fucking partner.
Okay, that's a good one. I will skip this one because basically, what was your inspiration to become a professional wrestler? But we already talked about it. So let's go with the next one. Which professional wrestler was your idol in your childhood?
Oh fuck. I've got like a few. So I've got like before I was a wrestler, and then when I was a wrestler. So before I was a wrestler, I really liked Goldberg and Sting in WCW. I just fucking loved them. Goldberg just smashing people in like a minute was like the greatest thing of my. Like I'd stay up for like 3 hours just to watch Goldberg destroy people for a minute. Like,
Mhm.
and then in like WWE, I really liked Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels,
Ooh.
um, and Chris Benoit was like my favorite.
Actual goats.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
Well, I mean, we can admire him because of what he did on the ring. I mean, at the end of the day, he was one of the goats. It's undeniable that he was one of the best technical wrestlers on history.
yeah,
Unfortunately, his end was not the one that we all wanted or would like to have to have, but
yeah,
we can remember him as the good part of his career and the
yeah.
good wrestler he was.
And yeah, and Dynamite Kid as well. So like those guys,
Oh,
and I
good.
fucking like if you like see my like style, you were like, I see where he's like got his inspirations from, you
But
know.
it's very funny because I mean, we have had here a lot of people that had come and they had openly said that they love WWE, but you actually were a WCW guy
I was
yourself.
a WCW guy when I was young. Yeah, I wasn't WWE until I was much older. Like, and I would like start watching it. I would like start watching more of the old stuff. Um, and then like when I got into wrestling, like my mind changed a little bit. Like I loved like 2004 5 Ring of Honor and TNA
Oh,
2004 and 5. And my favorites like actual wrestlers were Loki, AJ Styles,
wow. Yeah,
Kenta. That
Kenta.
those were the three that I absolutely fucking loved, and Davey Richards as well. So here you go. So as
Ooh, the
like a full
Wolf.
circle thing, like I love Davey Richards, and obviously you can probably see it in my style as well. Low key, I fucking pretty much just do low key's moveset. AJ Styles and Kenta, and I used to wear like Kenta's old gear, like his like yellow and brown, but I had like yellow and black same gear. That was like my debut gear, and so those are my favorites, right? Those are like I took most inspiration in my actual like the way that I wrestle. And then I was fortunate enough to when I did my first tour of America, I went and lived in Davey Richards' house and trained with him and traveled around and toured with him.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
that was like fuck, like I got the opportunity. Like, actually, it was Bad Luck Fale of the Fale Dojo. He was like, "Do you wanna?" Because he had done like an excursion from New Japan in America with those guys, and he was like, "Do you want to go and live with Davey Richards for like 3 months?" I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude?" And so I did that. So yeah, so that was that. And then later on, when I was in the UK, I actually got to wrestle Loki 1-on-1.
Oh, God.
So
oh,
and
great.
it was a fucking awesome match too. I got home and I was like, that was the fucking best night of my life.
Yeah, so you have
Okay.
trained with Davey, but you have not wrestled him yet, right?
I didn't wrestle Davey, I only trained with him.
Oh, I hope you can. I mean, a match in between you guys would. I mean, I have two dream matches. One with a guy here in Costa Rica. My dream match for you here in Costa Rica would be with Ramses because I guess that you guys can do a great match. But internationally with David Richards would be a banger. I mean,
Yes,
yeah. Okay,
definitely.
the last question before we go to the kickouts and the the chillest part of the podcast. Um, do you see yourself as RWA World Champion one day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
I
Well,
hope you are as well.
We didn't
so here's the
expect
thing.
less.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Any company that I go into, people always ask me questions like this. Like even when I was in WWE, like reporters would ask me, they'd go, "Who do you see yourself like facing?" And I was like, "Who's the champion?" And I was like, "It'll be like Roman Reigns or whoever the fuck it was." I'm like, "Well, that's who I want to wrestle." Because I don't give a fuck about. I want to do the top work. I want to do the top matches. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, to answer your question, of course, I'd see myself as champion.
All right. Well, guys, those were the no disqualification questions. Actually, the number is cooler in English than in Spanish, but well, that happens a
Yes.
lot. Well, let's go ahead then with Cosby and the kickouts. Cosby, go ahead.
Okay. As Victor told you before, I will give you a word, a keyword, and you will answer me as a phrase or as a word or a statement as you want.
The first
Fuck,
phrase
this
or
is
the
so much
first
pressure.
word that comes to your mind. That's right.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay, the first word is progress.
Uh, Will Ospreay,
Okay, NXT UK.
Royal Albert Hall main event with Zach Gibson.
Ooh.
Okay, this name is familiar in this show. Khlan.
Fucking tough, tough.
All right, that's New Zealand.
Uh Fucking, I miss it. I
You
miss my
miss it.
family.
Oh, I guess. Oh, let's keep in that mood. Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson, love. See this? Oh, wait, there you go. Love.
All right. Okay, RWA.
Fucking, wow. To be honest, the first thing that I just thought that popped into my head was home.
Home. Okay, thank you. Costa Rica.
Beautiful. I thought, oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful, amazing.
All right. Last two. Pro wrestling.
Uh, Passion.
All right, and the last one. Ah, Victor, you stole me this one, but no problem, no problem. I will get one for you, and it will be success.
Hard work.
Hard work. Okay, thank you, Travis, to get into the kickouts. And I have a last question, but I don't know if Victor, you have anything to say?
Is
Victor
he
is
there?
gone.
Just ask it. Don't worry about it. Just ask it.
Victor is gone. No problem. No problem. So tell us, Travis, when they contact you, the Big Four. I don't know which one contact you. I think it was Gabriel, or I don't know. When he contacts you and tells us, "Hey, we have a little company in Costa Rica. You want to come to wrestle? What is on your mind? What passes through your mind
Um,
when he invites you to be a part of a burning project?"
um, to be honest, like I didn't even question it. I just wanted to go because like when am I ever gonna get the opportunity to go and wrestle in Costa Rica? You know, and I hadn't wrestled there, and it was like I like I've wrestled in about 15 countries now, so I just wanted to add another one to the list. So when he messaged me, I was like, "Fuck, that's pretty cool." And what a great fucking opportunity to go and do that. But I didn't expect it to work out so fucking amazing, you know?
Okay, the experience fulfilled your expectations.
Oh, yeah, fucking, but I think it fucking exceeded my expectations, blew my expectations out the water, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Travis. It was an honor to have you here and get this is this time with you with this chat, and we really appreciate that you being part of it. And as Victor told you before, we are waiting for you again here on RWA here in Costa Rica.
Thanks, man. Like, yeah, again, for me, guys, personally as well, like, I appreciate you guys giving me a platform to, as we were talking about earlier, like, be able to see who I am as a person and hear my voice and know the person behind the fucking angry fucking face in the ring. So, I really appreciate, you guys' time as well.
And hey, Travis, we will ask you for a favor. Can you make us to get Jesse Jackson in the podcast in the future?
Yeah, she'll do it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I don't
that's
even
Yeah.
have to ask her. I know she'll do it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
We made
really
the
want
connection.
to,
Boom.
yeah, we really want to present her as well, to give the people here in Costa Rica the opportunity to know her a little bit better, because she is
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, we have in here, she normally likes the post from RWA and all that stuff. So we really love her here in Costa Rica. We love you here as well, Travis, and
But
we really want you.
just on that point as well, bro. Like, just as it was like a surprise for me when I came out in Vendetta that there was like fans in Costa Rica, it was important for Jessie as well that when she came out, everybody knew who she was, because again, she's quite new in the business. She's not completely new, but she didn't even know that there would be fans for her here either. So after we got back from that trip, she was just like, "That was fucking incredible! Like, how is
Mhm.
that even possible?" I was like, "It's hard work. It's what you've been doing. It's what you've been trying to do." To put
Yes.
yourself out there and be out there in the world of professional wrestling. So she really appreciates it as well.
Yeah,
You
we
make your own noise and we hear it from here.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right, that's right. But well, guys, we normally give the guest here an opportunity to tell the people something, a final message. So, what do you want to say to our people, Travis?
Fuck, man. Oh, put me on the spot. It's just like you guys. Fuck, I don't even need to say it really, but you guys are incredible. You guys have supported me. Like, and for me, okay, we'll get fucking emotional a little bit. Like, for me personally as well. Like, since obviously this fucking catastrophic failure of an event happened after I got fired from WWE. I was in a very fucking like bad way. And as I said earlier, like I needed to find my way in professional wrestling again. And places like SCW and RWA have fucking like reignited my passion for professional wrestling. And now I fucking feel like I can take over the world again. So that's thanks to you guys in Costa Rica.
Thank you, Travi. Thanks you.
Thank you, Travis. I guess that was one of the first signs from RWA, one of the international signings from RWA. You're part of the house, as mentioned before, and thank you very much for bringing your talent here to Costa Rica to help the guys to improve. Because since they have been, well, since they trained with you and they have asked you, as you mentioned before, questions after the match and what can I do better. All this stuff counts, and they are making and they are being better thanks to guys like you that comes here to Costa Rica not only to enjoy a great time, because of course we know that you enjoy coming here, knowing a little bit of our landscaping and our food and activities that you can
Yeah.
do in here, but also you come here to give us a little bit of how can I say this? Give us a little bit of a push in
Yeah.
order to keep bringing the Costa Rica wrestling a little bit higher on the people on the people's mind in over the world.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and thank you guys for tuning up this podcast. This was really fun. It was a really fun trip with Travis. I hope that he enjoyed it as well. Just remember to
Great time.
keep, because we are still having an extra part, the interview, let's call it like that, that we made with Malcolm. We promise that we're gonna make a better interview with Malcolm and with an special guest that we're not gonna tell you. But we're working on that. We're working on that. And otherwise, in this case, well, have a great day. I hope you enjoy your weekend. See ya. To to the to the interview. I'm very sorry for that. I was having technical issues, and I'm very sorry for that. But we're here back. Let's go ahead and check a little bit of the questions that we normally ask here, Malcolm.
All right.
As a kid, did you watch wrestling? How did you fall in love with this sport?
So I was a casual wrestling fan. So I didn't get into it really until I think it was 6 or 7. But it was Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, WrestleMania. And it was just like seeing these two mammoths going at it, and that's that I would always watch the big matches. Is what I would always do. So I was always wanted to be that guy, the big guy that carried the company. So. Um, And then I started watching it, I want to say in the 90s, come Attitude Era, where it was like, oh, wait, I can do this. And it was like Rocky Johnson or The Rock. It was like, you know what? He was the one that gave me the courage to say, you know what? I can do this. If he can do it, I can do it. So it was like, all right, I'm going to do it. But I did all my backup plans first, so did the college, the military, football, law enforcement, not knowing that all I had to do was go to a school. I just watched the other guys and was like, oh, this is what they're doing. They have, college football. They have all this and everything. So I was like, these are all the things I need to talk about as wrestler. You know what I mean? Not knowing that, oh, they're just athletes. Just go in there and go find a school and do that. So it wasn't until '09 where The Rock was coming back for WrestleMania, and I was geeked out. And a buddy of mine at the security place I was working at told me he knew someone who could get me into wrestling. So he had worked a couple of dark matches. I think he was on like Velocity or something like that. I worked out with him for 3 months. Had my first match in like 4 months. Oh, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then I did jujitsu for 2 years. Like I didn't do anymore. Like I just trained jujitsu and everything in Muay Thai. And then went to West Coast Wrestling Connection. They're no longer around. And trained with the grappler Lynn Denton and Jeremy Blanchard. That's where I met Ricky as well. Ricky took me underneath his wing because he saw I got a raw deal. He saw I had potential, but no one wanted to work with me for whatever reason. I don't know if I was blunt or not, but I've always been me, loving, caring. Yes, I'm straight and to the point, but I think he was like, "I'm put you on shows," and so he would give me shows to work, and I was able to prove my worth from there.
Jeremy is Boba's
So
Blanchard
Jeremy
brother.
Blanchard. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then that's where I got most of the old school was from Lynn Denton, who trained Jeremy. And then, Jeremy would breathe on me a lot about the business, you know what I mean? So it was like he instilled that Memphis, Tennessee in me, a lot of the old school in me, and the same with the grappler. And then everyone I love that locker room because you had so many different people coming in there that you can learn and breathe on. So it's like whenever I'm speaking to people about certain things, like, well, maybe what if you try this or what if you try that? It's coming from a good place from guys that have actually made money in this business. And so I was like, I took their advice and then started making some noise with it, just doing what I'm doing. And is basically when I went to New Zealand, it helped sharpen the tools because it was like the things that I learned then I got away from because I was always trying to keep up with everybody else. But it's like, well, no, dummy, like do this. No one else is doing this. So do this. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll change up my style, and it's been doing all right. I've been, like I said, been doing The Godfather, building a legacy. So yeah. But I mean,
that's
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, that's a good thing because there's a brand that like you're setting a brand and not a persona that can be disintegrated or forget people can forget about it and really easy. So that's that's something that we talk always and with the guys we're training, like try to build your brand. You're not just a wrestler, you're a brand. So that's part of what is very important for wrestlers in this era.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
I agree.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I agree wholeheartedly, but it's like it's so much more deeper than that. We say brand, and it's like no character. It's all about character. Like Fale was on here earlier, and we're talking about that. It's the getting up every morning and making your bed. It's the making sure you're eating properly. It's the making sure you're brushing your teeth and cleaning the bathroom and cleaning up after yourself. It's making sure you get up and go do your 3K first thing in the morning. It's making sure that you go and work out. It's making sure that you're there early for things. So it's really about character, who you are while you're in this. And there's really like no downtime if you're in it, if you're in it to win it, and that's what Fale's son said. He's been in it long enough. He can tell. And I think that's what he saw in me. He didn't say it, so I don't know. Now I'm questioning it. So when he watches this back, But no, so I think that's why, like you said, when you close one door, there's another one open over here. You know, it's like, because I definitely, I think I said earlier, I was like, when I wasn't what they were looking for, I was like, what? I'm the total package. Don't you know I'm a sex symbol? No. And so I don't know. It was just like, yeah, I was down for a while, for like a day. It was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, still do it. But the thing is, like, when you do that, because I was still doing all those things, every morning, I was in a routine. And so I was just on autopilot the entire day. And I didn't even realize it. But he realized it, and so that's why he pulled me aside. But that's just being on without being on, where it's like, these guys got to realize that in the business, because that's what it is. It is a business. What is your character in the business? Are you going to be hardworking, or are you going to find the easy way out? Are you going to be a snake, or are you going to be a kind-hearted person and respectful? Like, it all depends on who you are as a character. So it's like, yes, brand cool, but you know, character is the brand. You know, your character, who you are as a human being, is what you're presenting every day.
Okay.
Kozby?
Did you just give me a... No, go
Victor,
ahead.
you have something to say to Malcolm?
Well, yeah, I have a couple of questions, but if you have one, you can go ahead. It's not a
Go
problem.
ahead, my friend. Go ahead. It's all
Okay.
yours.
I,
It's all
I
yours.
wanted to ask if he can take us, like, what was a day in Fale Dojo, like, be, since morning to night, because
I,
you know,
I don't know if I can give out trade secrets right now over here. You know, you might be able to see a little glimpse of it during the tryout. So let me tell you,
yeah, but
here at
No
the
it's
spoilers.
like you can take out the secrets, but the thing is, and the question goes, it comes because of it's different here. Like, the ring is always done. The everything is we train in a gym,
yes,
that is with everything. So a big difference between Oregon, that I know from, from experience, what they do, like how they do it, and with what we do here in Costa Rica, and what you experience there in New Zealand, like day to day. Like, you needed to cook for them in the breakfast, or there was people just working on that. You were cleaning bathrooms, you were cleaning the dojo,
I'm clean
what
toilet.
cleaning everything.
Yes, those are lessons, right? Like cleaning the toilet. You gotta. I got the analogy, is like, you gotta play with shit in order to get what you want, right? So because you gotta be able to siphon through it. If you're talking about a day, it's like, it's pretty much the same thing I would do here, but this is a little bit earlier in the morning. But there is because you have a group of guys, and it is, the only difference is, between Costa Rica, Oregon, it's not every day. It's not like all day, every day. But where it's like, when you're at the dojo, it's game on from the time you wake up first thing in the morning, where it's like 6 o'clock. You're getting up, you're making up your bed, you're either brushing teeth or going to cook breakfast. You're cooking breakfast for yourself, and then you're cleaning up after yourself. So, you know, you don't clean up after yourself, the house is going to pay for that. You know what I mean? And I mean, pay for that, I mean, you're going to learn a lesson. So then it's go clean the dojo now. So, and then there's clean the house, then go clean the dojo, you know. I give all the times and everything. It's just, we have training from 9 to 12. Then go clean the, after cleaning the dojo, then you work out. And that could be anywhere from 3K run first thing in the morning to whatever calisthenics or 1,000 squats you had to do for the day. And then,
1,000
oh, absolutely. In unison.
a day,
In unison.
in unison, everyone.
In unison. I don't know if it's, como se dice, in unison.
Unisono is everyone is doing it,
Yep.
or just
At the same time.
in Japanese. Yeah, so
in Japanese.
in Japanese,
You're
counting in Japanese. So that's the thing. Yes. So that's the difference in the amount of discipline. Probably someone was saying earlier, it's a mindset thing, right? So you have to develop a strong mindset, because if you don't have a strong mindset in this business, you're going to get destroyed. It's like something bad happens. You got to be able to process it and move on. And then don't show it when you're in public, you know? So that's pretty much a day. And then, you know, you come back, community classes at 6. Sometimes you can go at 4 for kickboxing or whatever, to make kickboxing or boxing there also in the evening. So that was a day. We take that hour from 12 to say 4 to recover. Either we go hit some weights or we go to the pools, do hot tub or whatever while we're out there. That was my home away from home was the sauna and hot tub. I would soak after training every day. Got really familiar with the people out there. Made sure I knew all the lifeguards so I didn't drown. Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah,
I'm still shocked.
it's very
I thought that
different.
when you sent me the message that do 1,000 sit-ups because I was fat,
Yeah.
you were joking.
You thought I was joking? No.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
thought you were joking. Come on, man.
You got to think about it. If you do 50 now, right?
Yeah.
You haven't achieved your goal, right? So you know you're going to have to do X amount of sit-ups throughout to get what you're looking for. One, you got to definitely eat, because that's where it is at. It's in the food, and you guys have great food. And I don't know how you guys do it, but if you have a number that you need to achieve, well, you might as well go ahead and do a large amount in one going, because you're going to have to do X amount anyway. So you don't know what that number is going to be till where you reach your goal. So you might as well do a high number, right? And it really is more mental than it is physical, to tell you the truth. Because I think we did. I think the highest we did was like 600 there, as far as sit-ups. Yeah. But yeah, don't forget, we got lunges and push-ups and all those things we have to do as well. Muscle ups, freaking wall crawls. Those are some intense workouts. So it's like, if you someone hit me up right before I was about to leave, asking me about my experience, and I was just like, my experience was amazing. I don't know what pointers I can give you other than have your goals that you want to achieve when you're coming out here. Stay focused on those, stay consistent, and enjoy. Like, that's because my experience is going to be different than your experience, and I that was like one of the main things that I got after the 6 months. Like I was sitting there one day, and it came over me, and I was just like, this. Yeah, I can't. Yes, there's some good. There's so much good that happened. There were some bad things, like you were saying, like the fighting and everything. But it's going to happen, and it's like, but if you stay focused on that, you're going to stay stagnant. You're going to stay where you're at. So I was like, I chose to focus on the positive, and I chose to think about what I'm saying before I say it, because I can be direct.
Yeah.
Malcolm,
I know.
I'm an honest person, you know. I don't. That's the way I operate. I tell it like it is.
Malcolm, hearing that, you, as we may say that, have a after and before from
Mm.
your staying on New Zealand at the Fale Dojo.
What's that? An after and a before?
For
You have
on
there's
your
a Malcolm
Yeah, like
before and there's a Malcolm
that's right.
after.
Yeah, like on
on
your
your
Oh yeah,
experience,
personal
how
life and your
how
experience.
being on the dojo, how being on the Fale dojo changed your life. I mean, I know, or we know that it was an after and before on your life. So can you tell us a little bit of how was your life before Fale dojo, and how is it now after you got that experience?
Thank you.
so before, I was basically at Oregon Pro every day. And when I mean every day, I'm talking about Monday through Friday. Um, if we had the ring rented, sometimes Saturday or Sunday. Um, so I was there a lot more. But you know, afterwards, I was, I'm, I, you know, things happen. So I'm not gonna get into detail about that, but
No
I haven't
worries.
been able to be there as much now. But now it's like, let's get this tour going. It definitely lit a fire on me to where it's like, let's get this tour going to Costa Rica. I want to start this with New Japan first thing in Costa Rica in March, and then let's go to Mexico. Let's go to Houston. Let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Reno. Let's go to Oregon. Let's go to freaking Washington. Let's go to Canada. Let's go to New York. I wanted to do a whole big loop, so it was like it opened my mind to even bigger possibilities, which will help me get more work in the future because of it. Um, so the most important thing that I learned there is Frozen. I don't know if you know the movie Frozen,
Yeah.
Yes.
uh, and they sing a very beautiful song, and it's "Let
Let it
It
go.
Go."
Yeah.
So
Let it
after
go, let it
going to Fale Dojo, I'm gonna let you know right now. Um, when things get sticky, I just say Frozen, and people look at me like I'm weird. And I'm like, no, Frozen, right? Because I'm warning them one that I don't like what you just said, but if I say what I need to say right now, you're probably not gonna like it, and I'm just going to let it go and move on because you're going to learn what's going to happen. Because no matter if I tell you, I can tell you, you do it anyway, and you have me sitting there like, I've been telling you. Because I said that a lot there. So I had to learn, like, just let it go. Um, and so I definitely am a lot more relaxed now. Like I said, I do have an opportunity to do some things to close off some of the other things that I have to deal with outside of wrestling. Um, so I may be able to get there a little bit more, and then and just focus on wrestling would be a dream come true.
So
Okay.
yes, I mean at the
Yeah,
end of the day, you got change personally. We can
yeah,
say that as well. I mean, being on one of the biggest companies over the world not only
yeah.
change your style on wrestling, but also your personality, a little bit of who you are on the daily basis. I guess that because of all that we have been talking about, I guess that discipline is one of the most important values that you have at New Japan, and that you
Correct.
can and that you need to be on the Fale Dojo. Besides that, what do you think, Malcolm, that are the things that wrestlers that are gonna come to the tryout need to leave? Need like to waste or put in the trash in order to make sure that they can get a good experience on the tryout?
Uh, I don't know. Look, I don't know if anybody like wasted or like put in the trash, like because it's really come as who you are. Fale's son said he's looking for everything, right? So you
Hmm.
don't know. So I would say bring bring your confidence, bring your A game, um, bring an open mind, bring effort, bring discipline, bring respect. I can say bring all those things. But as far as like your style, like come be safe, take risk. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
like just I'm not going to tell anybody to throw anything away, right?
Hmm. No,
Because
I was menting a little bit more like don't let your ego win or things like that. I mean
oh
like
yeah,
bad
yeah,
things that you have to leave away so you can have a good
okay,
experience at the tryout.
yeah, no,
I think
absolutely. That's
you,
an listening. You know, come with an open mind.
and Malcolm just say it. Nothing is personal. Just let it go
Yeah,
because they're not
Frozen.
gonna do. Yeah, frozen. They're not gonna
It's
take any decisions unless they make it personal. They're not
right.
gonna take any decision based on personal stuff, right?
That's right. I mean, at the end of the day, that's something that I believe that I mean, it's present on wrestling business, but at the same moment, a lot of people it's leaving it behind, which is the ego we were talking about. I mean, I am the first one that believes that if we work together, we're gonna make this business bigger than it is right now. but we need to
Amen.
leave that aside. I mean, we need to leave those
Right.
egos aside. That mentality that I am the only one that has the right product. My way of doing wrestling is the right way. And as you said, let's open our minds a little bit. Let's go ahead and take and embrace other styles, learn new things, because at the end of the day, this is gonna make me a more complete wrestler than the one that I am
Absolutely.
today.
That's one key thing that we teach the kids at OPW is anytime you're doing a seminar, you're training with someone else, you go somewhere else, and we encourage you to go and learn from other people there. That's why we have 3 trainers there. That's why we have guest trainers that come in all the time. It's because everyone has their own perspective on what to do. So what we tell them all the time is like, whenever someone's showing you something, even though you've learned something similar here, do what that coach is telling you to do at that moment in time, and don't say, well, my coach said, like, that's like one of the biggest red flags that you'll get from a coach. Is like, wait a minute, all right, but that person's not here right now. It's like here, and so we tell them, don't do that, and just take what works for you and move on. And I think that really rang a bell when Gabe and Kaiser came and Kaiser ran a class there, because it was the same thing. It was like someone said, it was like, no, we're not doing that. This is your coach right now, so listen to your coach. It's yes sir, and no ma'am, yes ma'am. So that, just leave it at that. That's one of the biggest things. It's like, well, we learn it this way, and it's like, well, cool. Like, sometimes I have to bite my tongue, and I'm like, that's unsafe, but I'll do it. But
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something's really nice that every time I go to Oregon Pro Wrestling, I can tell them, like, every student is open to hear criticism, and they never take it in the wrong way. Like, it's something that we try to do too here, but we copy that from there. Like, every time I go there, it's like I like to see the matches they do, like the sparring matches, and go and try to go with the guys I like more at that moment, what I think
right,
that's, and talk with them, like, you can change this and this and this, because they know that everyone that is at least in that moment on the training set is trying to help them and have experience in wrestling. It doesn't matter if it's in ring wrestling or character, as I did, but they are always open. That's super nice. Like, the first time we went there was really funny, because Amira, that for me, Amira is like a little doll. She's super nice. She's so cute and
oh,
really,
Mira,
really nice. Yeah, Amira. Sorry, my Latino language.
yeah.
My
Uh,
I was
Latino
like, who is he
art.
uh,
talking? Yeah, I got you.
uh, so and she was trying to do like a little bump, right? She was trying to go over the rope and landing outside the ring, and she just almost broke her ankle that was medically repaired before. And she was like, "No, but now I know how to do it." And
Yeah,
everyone that was trained,
right.
everyone now that is training there is like always like, "Okay, that's something that will help me. Something that will help me."
Mhm.
And I think that's something that everyone needs to be aware of. Every wrestler or every person that is training wrestler is like, I'm open to hear everything that people is telling me, even if it's bad or I feel it's bad. There's
Mhm.
nothing personal unless you make it personal.
Right,
That
right.
that's
Oh,
that's
I was definitely guilty of it. I could tell you stories for days where it's like, I know that was wrong, and I'll be like, well, this is why it happened, and I tried to tell them not to do it, but it's like they wanted to do it anyway, and I don't want to be a difficult person. But it was like, even that was attitude towards the person that I was speaking to, and I could have just been like, "Yep, thank you, I appreciate it," and just move on, you know. So it's definitely a learning curve.
Malcolm, this question is for you. Speaking on behalf of OPW students. But I encourage the students there to write on the comments the answer of the next question that I'm gonna be making now. Are you guys are you guys missing Kaiser there? Do you wanna have another training with him? Would you be
Oh,
excited about
absolutely.
it?
If Kaiser shows up, well, yeah, we'll definitely we love having new people there in different perspective, especially the lucha style, right? It's like I've done some lucha training, and it was like some because I was like, I'm just gonna be a base here, and I want to do the cool stuff. No, but no, yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, the more the merrier. It's like we want people to be able to connect and network because maybe we can send some people out to Costa Rica and train there for a while. You know what I mean? Like that's I would love for that to be a thing where it was like, oh, they were at OPW, now they're over in Costa Rica. Well, then they went to New Zealand. Oh, now they're in Japan. You know what I mean? That would be a great to build that bridge for people to be able to do that and to be able to have the experience and to be able to go on whatever path they want to because of the roads that we're paving right now for them. So because that's what the guys in wrestling before us had done. You know what I mean? Because if they didn't keep it going, like we wouldn't be here today. So that's
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I always tell them, like, for us, at the moment when we start working with PW, was a big step because we weren't a company at the time. We were
mm,
just four
An
guys and
idea.
two that went there, yeah, with an idea. And I was still like, I feel ashamed a couple times because I felt like I was bragging for something that wasn't the thing, right? But I'm always be glad of you guys and really really appreciate that you guys believe in us before. I don't know what you guys saw in us, like I don't know what Ricky and you, because we kept contacting, we kept talking and showing us, but we were really really happy that it worked, right? Maybe my nice face and I'm eating me eating KFC when you guys were training, that helped.
so much it helped. I'll let you know. Like yeah,
So
uh,
motivational.
yeah, absolutely. He crossed the Golden Gate Bridge to get to OPW, and now is in Costa Rica, waiting for the burning sun to arrive in March.
Oh my God.
So you
Yeah.
kind of answered the question that I'm gonna be making right now, but I am gonna make it anyways. Do the students there, the future wrestlers, do they see I'm sorry, RWA as an opportunity as of today? They are excited to be
I,
here?
I'm not sure. I know Fale's son is excited to be there. I know when I
Ooh.
first brought it to them, brought it to their attention when I was out there, uh, because it was the day after he talked to me, and I was like, "Fine, I know where I'm going." And that was when I reached out to Gabe. It's like, "Hey, what do you think about um, New Japan coming out to Costa Rica?" And he was like, I think he dropped the phone for a second, and he picked it back up. And then I was like, "Hey, where'd you go?" And all I could hear is like muffling. And he was like, "Whoa." I don't know if he passed out, but no, he he was all for it. And so as far as like everybody else like being excited, like everybody there when I mentioned it were super excited. It's like Costa Rica, what? Yeah. And like I said, you can focus on like I'm very much so a pessimistic and petty and all those other p words you can think of. And so to me it was like, yeah, they don't believe that this is going to happen. So like my driving force was like, no, I'm going to be hands on with this. I'm not handing it over to anybody. I want this to happen. Um, so I wanted to make sure that it did, and so it's happening. And so when we're there, I want to make sure that we sell out the place. We'll start. I want to be able to set up for the next time we're there. I want this seminar to go well. I want this tryout to go well. I just want everything to run smoothly so that we can um, show everyone in the world what we have to showcase. Because this started off a whim. This started from Gabe, like, hey, I'm gonna go to America, America. And then Kaiser proposed to his fiance in San Francisco, and then they came up there and they saw little old me there because I think Gabe came to look for Ricky. He saw me there, and wanted to bring me to Costa Rica. And so I was like, all right, cool, let's go. Like I didn't look. I didn't even know Costa Rica really. That was the thing. Like it was the introduction, and it was like, let's go. Just like that same thing happened with New Zealand. It's like whenever I was looking to go someplace, and I was like working to get there, it wouldn't happen with something else. Something else would happen, and it'd be like, cool, ooh, that was a cool lesson. Where it was like, all right, cool. It's kind of like biblical, where it's like if you stop, and let God take over. And look, he sent me Gabe, he sent me Derek, he sent me Ricky. So it's like, hey, let's get back and make this happen now.
Okay, it's pretty good story and fun also. Malcolm, what comes to you in the future? What comes to Malcolm Evans in the future this year?
You know, I don't know at this point. It's like I say I don't know. I know things are on the horizon. I know the goal is to be in Japan because that's definitely number one on my bucket list. That's a life bucket list to actually be in Japan.
That's what you prepared for.
What's that?
That's what you prepare for to
Correct.
be in Japan.
Correct. So that's what I look forward to in the future. I look for more growth as well, mentally, physically, and financially. So, and I want to be able to bring people along with, because that's just who I am. It's like I want people to grow with me, as opposed to me like stepping on them and like, no, I did this and I did that. I'm a big man. No. So I want to make sure everyone grows around me and with me. I think we're doing that now because we're giving other people the opportunity to have some semblance of experience. Like it's going to be different. Like they'll be on scholarship, you know what I mean? But they're in a different country for the first time. There's different cultures and good food and kind people.
And
And
something
wrestling.
something
Yeah.
that it's kind of important here, Malcolm, is that they're gonna be facing as well a different language because some of them has gone to other countries here to wrestle, but they have been on a Spanish-speaking places. So it's gonna be a new challenge as well to
Yes.
to learn the language and try to understand what you're being explained. I know that wrestling is like an universal language because at the end of the day, everyone understands what you have to do on the ring. But yeah, it's gonna be like definitely a new experience and the biggest challenge of their lives.
So yeah, with that being said, in my intake, I think the last two that I was there for the year were the largest ones they've had ever. And so we had guys from Australia, Germany, different languages as well. We had people from the U.S. We had people from Chile there as well. So it's like, yeah. The thing is like if you have the correct mindset, you're going to make it work no matter what. Because if you don't, no one cares. Work harder. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge. I mean, it was a challenge for me as well. I was away from my family for 6 months. I think that's the longest outside of being in the military that I was away from. So, yeah, everyone's going to have their challenges. You just have to be able to overcome them, and that's what the school teaches you.
Perfect. That's amazing. In
Thank
this
you. Yeah,
case, Well, before we go to the next segment, because we normally divide our podcast in three segments. So the first part, it's going to be this like interview. The second part, it's going to be what we're going to do right now, that it's going to be called the no disqualification questions. The no disqualification questions basically is the segment of the Riot Talk podcast where the people of RWA, our fans, take control of the podcast and ask you a couple of questions here.
Okay, let's
So,
go.
yeah, so there's no response from us here. It's just gonna be your answer on this one. And with this section, we're closing the podcast basically. So let's go ahead and tell me, why did you change the last name? I liked so much the prior one, Flex.
So like I said, I didn't really change it. Flex is like in air quotes. Flex is who I am. It's who I've always been. Flex is a mindset. Be flexible. Flex on anybody that steps in your way and gets in your way of what you're trying to achieve. Flex on the person that's across the ring from you. Um, and that's either physically or using your vocals. So it's like I'll snap on somebody real quick if I need to. So that's who Flex is. You know what I mean? And so it's not really a change. It's just a more of a. I wanted people to know that I was a human being. So come feel me. Like, yeah, I'm Malcom Evans. But if you're my friend, I'm Flex. I'm your friend.
You can chant it the way you want when he's
Yeah,
back
yeah,
here in
yeah,
Costa
yeah,
Rica.
yeah.
Can I
um,
call you with the name with W?
Why would you do that? Winner? Yes, absolutely. Always.
Winner.
that's the
Always
right one.
winner.
Yeah.
Winning
Okay.
Malcolm Evans. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can add winning to the adjectives you have on your description. Okay, who's your biggest inspiration in pro wrestling?
Oh man, biggest inspiration. So for a long time, it was always Bret Hart. Just because he
Nice.
was the technician in the ring, and he could work with anybody, from what I understood. And then it was like I was saying earlier in my story, it was The Rock who was like, I can do this. And then like you look at him now, and it's like, of course, because I always gravitated towards the guys that were constantly doing stuff. Because that's who I am. I'm a kinetic learner. I'm a doer. So I do things. Because it's the same with Dion when it was with football. He would. There's just something in their energy and their spirit that I gravitated towards, and so it's like, all right, what do I need to heal from and to achieve in order to be in this power? And it was, when I look at it, it's like helping people. Um, that's that's what I do now, is I help people, and that's how I get most of my opportunities now, by helping people. But yeah, biggest inspiration is probably be The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. For real, because yeah, like I said, there was Hogan, there was Brett, there was um, Ron Simmons, there was
Wow.
Junkyard Dog, there was there was all these guys that I followed, and there was like certain ones because there were certain characteristics in them that I liked and that I wanted to pull, and that's what I wanted to embody. If actors, it was Will Smith, and then I found out, he was slapping people and he wasn't very respectful, and I respected him because, look, no, I respected him because he
Was a French prince.
no, he didn't cuss in the thing, so I was like, okay,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I wasn't that guy, and I was like, I respected that, so I wanted to make sure I didn't cuss in shows and all those things. But now that when you meet your heroes and you actually see them in real life, it's like, you know what? I only hit people in between the ropes because it's respectful. I'm surprised he didn't go to jail. Not really. I knew it was something else. But no, that's those are that. If to answer your question, I know I get long
That's for
winded, but
another podcast, actually.
yeah, that I would say the Rock for real.
The Rock. The Rod
Uh,
and Bret Hart as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. That
nice.
was how I set my first gear up. Yeah.
Well, I
What's the
love The Rock as
greatest?
well. It's
What's that?
Yeah, Cosby, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Two of the greatest of the history of
Oh,
wrestling.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
definitely.
mean, greatest of all time is Ric Flair, but you know, I'm not. I know I
Hmm.
didn't say his name, but yeah, greatest of all time. Seriously.
Uh, now that you're saying that, how do you make your Mount Rushmore of wrestling? You doing it by decade? You're doing a whole time Mount Rushmore. Which
Um,
is yours?
so for me, it was all about who influenced me the most, who I would want to go and see, who I saw myself in, right? And so that's who I try to emulate. Like I don't I try to emulate them. I try to be that being for myself, for other people to look and it's like I want to be that guy. And so I look at their characteristics. All right, why do they do these things? Okay, they do these things because of this. All right, cool. So I need to be able to embody that hard work as well in order to get to that level.
Okay. And what's your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, I'm
Which
sorry.
your
Oh,
Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore. What's
Yeah,
my for? Oh, Hogan, Rock, Ron Simmons, Ric Flair.
Great. Ron Simmons was a great start
interesting.
also.
Yes.
Yeah, Ron Simmons is in a specific point of history. He was one of the biggest and
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
amazing wrestlers, and he did break a lot of stuff. Like it makes sense that for him to be there.
Okay.
Hogan, really?
What you know how many people ask me that? He's the one that introduced me to wrestling. Absolutely.
Okay. You know
Absolutely.
how how I
One, you say it or not, like box office. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that paved the way for so many to do it. Yeah, okay. Well, we say outside the ring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you do outside the ring. You know, I love you like a brother, but I don't know what you do. You know, on your personal. So who am I to say? I can only say about your accolades that I witnessed in the ring. So that's the way I look at it. I try not to. I not try not to look at everything else. It's just what they brought to the business.
Okay. Okay.
The next question is, who do you want to have a rematch the next time you are here in Costa Rica? Do you like to have a rematch with Regulus, Maxens, or with Tyler Huck?
So I don't know if I have anything to prove with Tyler Hawk. However,
Ooh,
I see that he has something around his waist, and
He did.
he did or he doesn't.
he did not
He didn't
anymore.
have
Not
it anymore.
anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
then he's out of the question, Mr. Hawk. But Max, definitely because um, he ruined my little streak going on there. So I
Oh.
thought I was going to stay undefeated there in Costa Rica, and I got a little distracted. And I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed before the show, so and not distracted. Because this time I'm just going to go get a massage ahead of time to loosen up some tension. Um,
Yeah.
That's great.
so yeah, Max for real. I think who else did I want to? I wouldn't mind working. Is Drago there still? Dragon,
Dragon King?
Dragon
Yeah.
King. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Dragon King is
See what he's like.
there
But
too.
yeah, Tyler was pretty good though. He definitely gave me a run for my money. It's probably why I didn't win that next match with Maximus. But I think if I'm fresh, I can just run through Max this go around and see if I stay focused and I stay on him. I think that's where I went wrong. Um, but
That's that's what comes with being a sex symbol, right?
what's that?
Being distracted before the match.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, there's a time and place for all of that. You know, Daddy's gotta play outside the ring, not inside the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, let's keep the
Yeah.
things separate, right?
Hey, don't play with me over there. Listen, don't play with me over here.
All right. What surprised you most during your visit to Costa Rica, and what are you looking forward to do on your next visit?
Oh man, what surprised me the most? The weather. No. Man, what surprised me the most? Just the love. I was gonna say I'm all about love, man. Like as soon as I like touched down, it was like we got you. So I'm in the car, I'm sitting back. I sit back in a seat and I look over and there's this beautiful woman sitting there and I'm like, oh man, oh Neil. Oh, that's his wife. And I go, you guys are mean for that.
Don't do this to me.
Oh man. But I mean our sponsor is very lovely. So I was like, that's just the love. Like I think they took me out that first night. I was there, picked me up for a nice little brunch the next day. And there's, I did not expect any of that. I thought it was just like dropped off at the hotel and just like left, you know. I guess the talent as well. There was some good talent there and very receptive. I didn't know what to expect, being that I was an English speaker coming in to speak, to teach Spanish speaking. But I think, and I hope I did a good job. I don't know. I didn't get my review, so whatever. I felt it was good, so it was good.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, the talent was good and receptive, and they went through the things that I taught them there, and I did see a couple people put it into practice that night. Well, the next day at the show, so it was refreshing to see. So it's like, oh, my words aren't going on deaf ears, yay!
And there's anything that you were looking forward to do when you were here the first time, but you were not able to do, that you would like to do right when you come back?
I think I'm staying a little bit longer this time.
Okay.
Little, yeah.
So I think I'm going to the volcano. I was really excited about going up to the volcano because I don't get me wrong. So very appreciative of the experience. But when they said volcano, I said, I've never been near a volcano before. I said, y'all got volcanoes here? I know I live in a state that's like a mountain, like Mount Rainier is basically a volcano.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think
right.
this one is active. And so I was like, I want to go over there and I want to look down and then see lava spitting out and everything. Like I'm putting this all in my head. And then it was all shut down because I think it was active. So we didn't get to go all the way up.
That's
But then I
right.
got delicious strawberries, a beautiful breakfast. I think I was forced to take a bag.
Frio.
Look, I was forced to take a bag of coffee home because Costa Rica has the best coffee.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right. It's true.
I,
It's
I will
totally
remember
true.
that, and I will remember that.
Yes, I hope you do. I'm taking 2
And,
bags this time.
yeah, because a couple weeks later, I received a message telling me like, "Can you send some coffee to New Zealand?"
No, that was a
I,
couple months later. Because I had coffee snobs at the house, right? And remember, I'm not a coffee guy. I'm a tea guy
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm the Kingsman. So so yes, I was trying to do a favor for the boys at the house.
It was impossible to send the coffee
Yeah,
to New Zealand.
with the shipping and everything. Yeah, I was like, yeah, whatever the
Yeah.
shipping cost is, like here it is. Like I just send it over, please. But yeah,
It was
no,
Now,
I
impossible.
wanted to, they were coffee. I'm telling you, it was like espresso machine and everything. And I'm like, man, if you don't just put the bean in the water and let it go, like that's all you need. Like,
Don't
who
complicate it too
cares?
much.
much
Yes,
complicated. Yes,
I said it's bean juice, man. Why are y'all tripping?
that's the
Shut
real taste
on.
of coffee. That's the real
Well,
taste.
you know now
So
what to.
this time we have to send it to New Zealand with Mr. Foley.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's one thing,
that's
yeah, but definitely as you're gonna be here, it's better if you take it with you right
yes,
while you're
absolutely,
here. Yeah.
absolutely.
When he
Yeah, and
tries,
just
he
shipping,
will decide to get to take it to New Zealand.
yeah, just shipping into New Zealand is crazy. I think I ordered
Yeah.
some Airbus that I still haven't got received yet. So,
It's literally the other part of the world. I mean,
Yeah,
yes, that's
yeah, the
where
other
time starts.
side.
Yeah.
All right. This is another question you kind of answered already, but I'm as
What
well
it
for
is.
to respect my audience here, I'm going to ask it anyways. So, what
Perfect.
was the
please.
process like for NJPW to contact you?
Oh, so they didn't actually contact me. There was Derek Shaw, who's my buddy out here. You would come into the Oregon Pro Wrestling School and train there. And he recommended me to go out there, myself and Joe Thornton, um, to go out to the school. So we were like, all right, cool, we'll go. I was originally going to go for 3 months, decided to stay for 6 because of Mark's son convinced me. But from there, I think I made the decision, I want to say November of 2022. And I wanted to go in June because my children would be out of school. So it was like, hey, you guys can come over here and visit and everything. That didn't happen. They didn't want to. They wanted to enjoy their friends because they don't like daddy. Um, but yeah, no, they didn't really reach out per se. Now that we have this working relationship, I think after this trip, it should go very well.
Well, let's say that at the end you did what the people that it's gonna make the trial it's looking forward to do. I mean, you went there, made the tryout, or in this case, trained with them, and you had the opportunity to stay on Fale Dojo. So I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be very inspirational for them. So
Same trip in a different
take notes,
way.
guys. I'm sorry?
Same trip in a different way.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
it's the same trip, the same goal, because at the end of the day, all of us have the same goal, but it's a different path. That's correct.
Correct.
All right, what does RWA need to take that extra step at the national level and start taking steps internationally?
Uh, my go-to for anything is always marketing. Like, how well are you marketing? Because people have to know you're out there. And then you also have to have a good product. Um, that's because it's in your hands from there. And right now, I see a lot of good production. We talk about going to the next level. It's like even still push it more. They're building connections currently and networking with different countries surrounding. Um, like I said, this might be the flagship that people like point to years down the line, where it's like that's where it all started, was there. You know what I mean? And then they got everybody else hooked up, and maybe there's all those companies are working together with one another. Um, so that happens. That could be the next step, where it's like maybe you bring back the territories. Who knows? Maybe do territories in South America. Could work. I believe so. You have a yeah. We'll talk about that later.
That's
Or
another podcast.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
another podcast, that's
Yeah.
right. What do you think of the level you experienced here on RWA compared to the other places you have been before?
Level experience RWA. I want to say it's about the same as the indies that I've worked. Um, I've had some great talents that I've worked. You know, especially when I first started, I was doing TV in Oregon because I had guys that have made so much money in this business at the top, um, and to be able to learn from them. That's I like that. I can't compare that with others that I've worked with. So I would say um, on the indies out here, about the same level wise. What do we say at the school? 4 out of 10 to everybody. That's what we say at the school, because it's like always room for improvement. It's like 4 out of 10. That's what I say, 4 out of 10. But I say that about everything. I even say that about my matches. So there you go. So take that for what it's worth.
Okay, but
Yeah.
it was a good experience. I mean, I guess that of course, compared to companies that are gonna be one or two steps ahead of us, of course it's gonna be a little bit less of a good experience. But of course, there's other companies as well that could be a little bit behind us that you could have a like a little not like a little worse experience, let's say like that. I'm not saying that you got a absolute worst nightmare there, but that's the thing. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, there's gonna be places that are gonna be better than us, and we're looking forward to be at their stakes as well. But
So so here's what I look at. And I've done this all my life. I don't know if it's to my detriment. I don't worry about what anybody else is doing. I really don't.
That's right.
I can only focus on what I have in front of me, and where I'm moving forward to. If you see that you need to make improvements in certain areas because you see something that's like, oh, that works. Let me try this and see if it works for me here, right?
That's
Everything's
right.
trial and error, right? So then you gotta, what do you want to do? Like you see what the national, okay, you look, okay, because you want to see what these people are doing. All right, take what's good, see if it works, because what works for them may not work for you, and vice, like I see, vice
Vice
versa. So
versa.
it's like you have to like it's like you're comparing yourself to this, but it's just like you're not them. You don't have their niche. So it's like you have to find your identity. You have to know your why. You have to um, know where your production is and how to push and market that to people. But more than anything, it's like you have to know your identity and push that out to people.
All right, that's a great answer actually. Well, that was actually the section from you guys, the no disqualification questions here. It was amazing, but let's go ahead and finish the podcast with the last section we have. We call it different in Spanish, but I'd like to take the idea from my partner here in crime, Cosby, and I'm gonna steal his idea and I'm gonna call it kickouts right now for the English version. So I'm just gonna tell you a couple of words here, a couple of phrases as well, and you have to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. It could be another word or it could be directly a phrase if you would like to. So let's start with this one, Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy.
Yeah, I asked you this
Oh,
because I saw this reel from Oregon Pro Wrestling of these guys training there. So I just wanted to know what comes to your mind when you hear about Alpha Academy now that they were there.
okay. Yeah, I was just making sure I heard it right. I would say poems. Poems is
Poems.
the thing to come. Yeah, Nick Radford does poems. Yeah, they. I don't know if they've come down there, but they train at the Buddy Wayne Academy. Is where they train at. But they are definitely they come down and work at PAL Pro Wrestling and DOA, and I believe SOS as well. Yeah, I think they were champions there, and for DOA. So yeah, poems. Nick's
Poems.
always doing poetry before.
Excellent. Now,
Yeah.
I was really really proud of you guys because also our flag was seen on the reel, so it was an
Oh, nice.
honor for us.
Yes, yes, yeah. Wherever Ricky and Eddie goes, a flag goes up.
Okay, the next word it's gonna be OPW.
Love.
Love.
Uh, that's where I did most of my growing in the ring. Because it was like as I was coaching, I was like, "Would I do that? Why am I telling them not to do that?" And I do that, and it's like, oh, so it was very enlightening. So yeah,
Okay, perfect. Fale Dojo.
perseverance. Uh, perseverance. Um, perseverance of and making the mindset stronger. Yeah, definitely. Frozen.
Frozen.
Co
Frozen.
Costa Rica.
Frozen.
Oh, passion. Oh, the strawberry passion. Chocolate dip.
Strawberry.
Oh my goodness.
And the
Holding
last
hands
one,
up the mountain, of the volcano way.
I hope you can go to the volcano this time because it's really beautiful. You're gonna see it.
Yeah, I think I look. I
It's a
think we're
nice
gonna
experience.
Yeah.
get to the beach as well. Nudge, nudge. Um,
Ooh.
yeah.
And finally, this is a phrase, and it's a phrase that I personally love. It marked me. It says, "The most sizzling, loving, unforgettable talent in the world today."
You know who it. You know it, baby. That's Malcolm Flex.
Well, this was
Yeah.
then our last section here, Malcolm. We really appreciate the opportunity that you gave us to know you a little bit better, the opportunity to connect us as well with Backloot Valley, to think about us when you are outside in other countries wrestling and doing what you love the most, and thinking about the people here in Costa Rica as well that is looking forward to make that dream true. So I really hope that you enjoyed your podcast here, and I really hope as well that you come back someday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime, just let me know. I'm definitely excited to see the final cuts on this right here. Because if I see the winner come out, I'm gonna punch him in
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Malcolm.
the
From me, I would like to thank you not just for being on the podcast, because when Gabriel told us that you want to be part of, we've been very happy because you're for us you're a big star, you know, and
Oh, thank you.
oh,
That's it
and
all.
also I would like to thank you to be the bridge to connect us with the other side of the world, with the Fale Dojo, and bring the opportunity and the experience for for wrestlers, for persons who trying to be real pro wrestlers in this side of the world to come here to Costa Rica and make his dream come true. Thank you for that, my friend.
Oh, absolutely no worries. It's from the bottom of my heart. Look, thank you all, because I wouldn't be here if Gabe didn't bring me here. So yeah, that's where it started.
That's what I do.
I don't know,
I'm
Gabe,
kidding.
if you wanna say some final words before we end the podcast, Gabriel.
No, just
Oh.
I hope everybody enjoys. Wait, were you talking to me?
No, I was mentioning Gabriel,
Oh,
but if you
I'm
wanna
sorry,
go ahead,
Gabriel.
go
Look,
ahead.
Gabriel, no. Look, I thought we're like symbiotic brothers, you know?
Yeah, yeah, we are one. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah. Go
And
ahead.
we are so one that I wanted a suit like a New Japan tracksuit, and he bring one for me without asking him. So my New Japan tracksuit is because Malcolm bring it to me
Oh,
Oh,
without
oh, I
asking
forgot
for
about
one.
Oh,
that.
I saw it the other day. It was too cool, pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty
But
nice.
no, everything that you hear here and everything you see is like Malcolm is always is. He's super nice. He's a really genuine people person, and I think the best thing at this point of my career in wrestling is I've met them, especially Malcolm, because I can talk with him about things more than wrestling, right? So I'm really glad to have you here. I hope to. I'm really excited to see you soon, brother. And I'm just. I always be grateful for everything you have done for us.
I appreciate it. Like I said, it's all you, bro. Look, I would not be here right now if you didn't see something. So no, I definitely appreciate it. I think it was what, 2 years ago? Yeah.
Years, yeah.
Your school wasn't even open yet. Like they hadn't even run a show yet. And then now you got a show named after me? Boy, stop. Dog.
well,
Yeah,
now.
that's
Oh,
we got two names on Oregon, right? The first one is STARCRASH, and the
Yeah.
other is Midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
real legends here in Costa Rica, actually.
Yeah.
So, well, Malcolm, now, if you would like, you can have a couple of minutes there. If you would like to say some final words for the people that it's gonna see you in the Star Crash, for the people that it's gonna come for the tryout. I don't know, anything that you would like to say.
Um, feed me, people out of Costa Rica. No, I would definitely let us know where we need to go to see people. We want to make sure we get a lot of people into the building. I know we're going to be out there a couple of nights ahead of time before the seminar and tryout. So I want to make sure that we are getting out there, getting people to get tickets to get inside the building. So let us know where you're at. Let us know where we need to go. For those that are coming to the seminar and tryout, definitely come with an open mind, please. Um, Come to work. So, I mean, you got a month and a half to get in some good shape, push yourself to come out there and put your best foot forward. So just make sure you're doing that. I mean, I'm doing it, and I'm not even trying out, but I got to get ready for the next fight that's coming. So I'm going to make sure I do that. And so, like I said, keep an open mind, work out, have some goals set, have some questions available also to ask while you're there. And we'll see you out there on March 17th for Star Crash.
We will see you too, brother. We're very excited to do this day.
We're very excited.
Um,
That's right.
no, no.
Continue.
Let's go home.
Oh, let's go home now. Yeah,
I'm
it's time.
home.
It's
I'm
time.
home too.
Yeah, all of us.
We're going to sleep,
But
Malcolm.
we need to sleep.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right. That's right.
yeah.
We need
Stay
to
going. My
tomorrow it's
last meal
gonna
for
be a new day. But people that it's in home right now, thank you so much for your view. Thank you so much for tuning in into this podcast. I really hope, and we really hope here that you really enjoy it. And well, what we say every time, give us a like, give us a comment. Please click on the little on the little bell so you're notified when we upload this podcast. See you, fans. Bye bye.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna do something extra. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just for you guys to know, like people that is watching to us. I think there's like the next four Riot talks are completely in English,
Well,
so
actually,
they
Ooh,
need to subscribe to
yeah.
Duolingo.
Yeah, actually, there's
yeah.
gonna be, it's gonna be
Malcolm, you're
like,
the first one in the Riot World Tour
that's correct.
2024.
Well, you and Bad
That's
Luke
Yeah.
your
Valet,
honor.
of course. You and Valet. But yes, you
Yeah,
are
of
the
course, Mr.
first two
Foley also.
guests in the Riot World Tour. Next week, we're gonna have Travis Banks and Jesse Jackson here on this tour.
Boom!
So keep on track of what we're doing here on Riot Talk because we're doing big things here. Well,
absolutely.
actually, thank you very much, Gabe, for that message here. That was very important. And
It's an
guys,
important reminder.
that's correct. It was an important reminder. But guys at home, now it's time to finish this podcast. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye bye.